Alright, so in this video we will do the Johor set, paper 1. Alright, so for paper 2, you all do it by yourself. Alright, for paper 1, I will try to make videos, okay, for all the state. But for paper 2, I will really do it with you. Okay, I will really do it with you in class. So that should be okay. This is paper 1, I can't do it. So I will do it in a video format. Alright, and put it on YouTube. Okay, so the Johor set, they give you a curve P and a curve Q here. And what you can notice, here from the diagram, you can notice that the curve P is like more narrow, right? It's like more narrow, but curve Q is like wider. Okay, it's wider. Okay, and then what else they give you? Standard deviation of alpha is 14.15. Standard deviation of beta is 25.75. Standard deviation, alright, standard deviation. Which class shows most consistent achievements? So, consistent. So, give a reason. Alpha or beta? Which is more consistent? Alpha, right? Alpha is more consistent. And they want you to give a reason. And what is the reason? The reason is because the standard deviation is smaller. Alright. Why you choose the one with lower standard deviation? Alright. First you need to understand what's standard deviation. Standard deviation means, for example, there's a student named Ali. Alright, there's a student named Ali, and for the first exam, Ali got 30 marks. Alright. Second exam, Ali got 33 marks. Alright. And for the third exam, Ali got 35 marks. Alright, next person is Abu. For the first exam, Abu got 3 marks. Alright, just an example only. For the next exam, Abu got 96. Alright, it's just an example only. For the third exam, let's say Abu got let's say 46. Alright? This is a random number, right? So what I'm trying to show you here. Can you see, if I want you to choose between Ali and Abu, who is more consistent? Which one you will tell me is more consistent? It's Ali. Because Ali, the mark is consistent, 30, 33, 35, right? The standard deviation will be lower, the standard deviation will be smaller. But this one, the standard deviation will be bigger. Why? Because the marks is like sometimes 3, sometimes 96. Okay? So the standard deviation will be bigger. Alright? So that's the meaning of standard deviation. Maksud here, when they ask for which class is most consistent, you choose the one with lower standard deviation. Standard deviation is deviation. What is deviation? Deviate. Like use the word deviate in a sentence. How do you use the word deviate? So for example, I deviate from my original plan. Right? I deviate means I deviate. I don't follow the usual procedure. I deviate from it. So you deviate. So the higher the bigger the deviation, it means the more that it's not consistent. Right? It means that your marks jump up like this. But if the standard deviation is lower, it means that it's consistent. So that is the answer. Right? Determine appropriate curve data to represent alpha and beta. So which curve will be alpha, which curve will be beta? So first of all, I can write down alpha is curve something, and then beta is curve something. So alpha is which curve? You know that the alpha is the more consistent one. So the wider one will be more consistent, or the narrow one? The narrow one, curve P. So alpha will be curve P and beta will be curve Q. Because if you look at curve P, it's more narrow. The one which is wider has a bigger standard deviation. Because this is the standard, because if you look here, you can see that this is smaller, right? But this one is bigger, right? So that the one that wider, which is curve Q, the one wider is the one which is not so consistent one. So that is the answer. Alright, you understand? So let's look at question number 2 here. N P3 over 2n equals to n minus 1 P2. This is permutation. Okay, this P is permutation. How I know it? Because There's a number up here, there's a number down here. So this is permutation. So you can use your calculator to help you. Alright, so before you do this, right? What they want? Express n in terms of n. N in terms of n. N in terms of n. So what do you do? There's a fraction. I can hilangkan the fraction. Pindah. So it becomes np3 divided many times. So n minus 1. So you can write the 2n in front like this. And then times with n minus 1 p2. Alright? And how do you do np3? Okay, first of all you need to understand the concept of factorial. Alright? So what is factorial? For example, if I give you 2 factorial, it will be 2 times 1. If I want 3 factorial, it will be 3 times 2 times 1. 4 factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So you understand, you get the meaning, right? If I want 5 factorial, it will be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. It means that what you do when you take a number factorial, you just take a number times the number smaller times until 1, right? Times the number smaller until 1. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 like this. So we can conclude that n factorial is actually n times with n minus 1 factorial. Agree? So n factorial equals to n darab dengan n minus 1 factorial. Alright? So another thing is 2 factorial is actually 2p2. 3 factorial is actually 3p3. And p is for stands for permutation. 4 factorial is 4p4. So what I'm trying to show here is, if I want you to find 2p2, it's the same with finding 2 factorial. So 2p2 is 2 factorial, 3p3 is 3 factorial, 4p4 is 4 factorial. But what if I erase this and I want you to find 4p3? So if I want 4p, okay, this is 4p4, right? But if I want 4p3, then you take, I give you only 4 times 3 times 2. It means you only take 4 times 3 times 2. What if I want 4p2? You only take 4 times 3. Do you understand it? Maksudnya, if I want np3, I will take n darab dengan n minus 1 darab dengan n minus 2. That's all. I only take the first 3. Okay, why I stop here? Why I tak sambung darab like n minus 3, n minus 4? Because I only want np3. Alright? Just like this. If I want 4p3, I only take 4, 3, 2. That's all. If I want 4p2, I only take until here. Alright? So if I want np3, it means I take n darab dengan n minus 1 darab dengan n minus 2. That's the meaning of it. Equals to 2n. Okay, now you teach me, what is n minus 1 p2? It's n minus 1 darab dengan what? It's n minus 1 darab dengan what? What's the number you have to times? It will be n minus 1 minus 1. So it will be n minus 2. Right? Okay, you stop here already. Why you stop here already? Okay, actually if I want n minus 1 p, n minus 1. If I want n minus 1 p, n minus 1, it means what? It means n minus 1 factorial. And it will means that I have to take n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 times n minus 4 until I reach the 1. Until I reach 1. Okay? Until I reach 1. But now they want n minus 1 p2 only. So you only take the first 2 terms times only, which is n minus 1 and not n minus 2. That's what it means. Alright? Potong, 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 potong. N equals to 2n, n equals to n over 2. Alright? That would be the answer. Alright? Okay, there's actually another way of explaining this. Okay? The other way of explaining this is using the formula. Okay, using the formula. So, I will erase it and I will do it here. Alright? So, using the formula, I will do it here. Alright? So, formula. So, this formula is given in the exam. So, the formula will be NPR equals to n factorial over n minus r factorial. Okay? The formula you don't have to memorize because it's given in the exam. Alright? So how you use this formula? NP3, right? NP3. So just masuk n factorial over n minus r. So n is here, r is here. So n minus 3 factorial. Like this. Done. Equals to 2n. So 2n. Times with n minus 1 p2. n minus 1 p2. So n minus 1 will be n minus 1 factorial di atas. And n minus r will be n minus 1 minus 2 factorial. So it becomes n minus 1 minus 2 is n minus 3 factorial, like this. And what you do, you compare both sides. And before you compare, you have to make sure there's some rule. So let's start this thing n minus 3 factorial. And the 2n actually you can write atas like this. You can write like this. Alright, over n minus 3 factorial. So n minus 3 and n minus 3 factorial I can bottom. Alright, I can compare them together. So actually I can bottom. But the problem here is this one and this one I cannot compare. So what I can do is the n factorial I can change to n times n minus 1 factorial. Remember just now I write the formula, I already erased it just now. But I said n factorial is same with n times n minus 1 factorial. Alright? So that's what it means. Alright? So that's so n factorial is somewhere n minus 1 factorial. So you use this to muscle here. And now you can start to compare. N minus 3 factorial compare with n minus 3 factorial. N minus 1 factorial compare with n minus 1 factorial. N equals to 2m. So n equals to 2m. N equals to n. Right? And you can see that the answer is the same. Right? It's the same. Alright, next. Number 3. The mean of 8 numbers is p. This is statistic. Okay? The mean is p. So mean is p. This is the symbol for mean. There's 8 numbers, so n is 8. Okay? 8 numbers. Sums of squares of numbers is 232. Sigma x squared equals to 232. Variance is k, and this is the symbol for variance. And then they want you to express p in terms of k. What does it mean by express p in terms of k? It means I need an equation with p and k inside. I repeat again. If they want you to express p in terms of k, it means you need an equation with p and k inside. Okay, p and k inside. And how to form an equation with p and k inside? So you use this symbol they give you, right? Maybe some of you will say, oh, use the mean lah. Use the mean. Alright, what's the formula for mean? The formula for mean will be sigma x over n. Yeah, you can also. What happens? Here you get p, and the sigma x you don't have, you just leave it, and the n you get 8. But the problem here is, you can find out that sigma x is 8p. But what I want is not the sigma x. I want p in terms of k. So you need to form an equation with p and k inside. If you use the mean, you only form an equation with p. So actually the correct way is you use the variance to do. Because we know the variance formula is what? Sigma x squared over n minus mean squared. This is the formula for variance. And for sigma x squared you can put through 232. And for the n you can put 8. For mean squared you can put p. Can you see? And the variance is k here, right? And can you see I already formed an equation with k and p? So it's possible already to find p in terms of k. I just have to pin down. Alright? So what you do here is k equals to 232 divided 8. I think it's 19. I'm not sure. Right, so you use the calculator. So let's again 232 divided by 8. So 232 divided by 8. 29. Not 19, 29. Then minus p squared. But I want p in terms of k. It means I want p on one side. I can pin down here. And it becomes 29 plus k becomes minus k. So I continue here. Square get square root. So p is what? Square root 29 minus k. That's all. Right? Next, number 4. So for number 4, starting from number 4, alright, I will erase this first. This is also statistic, so they give you marks. And they give you cumulative frequency 20 to 29, 5, 30 to 39, 18, 40 to 49, 39, 50 to 59, 53, 60 to 69, 72, 70 to 79, 80. Alright, so what you do here? Table 4 shows the distribution. Okay, starting from this question, I will not study the short line anymore. Okay, and you all have this book. So, okay, just refer to the book when I'm reading the question. So, table 4 shows the distribution of marks for a group of students in an Addmaths test. Right? So, 20 to 29 marks, there's 5 students. Okay, no, actually, because this is cumulative. So, what we can do, we can add a column here for frequency. Right? So we know that cumulative is already plus for you. So you minus that. You minus that. 18 minus 5, 13. 39 minus 18, 11. Is it? Yes. No. 21. 21. Alright? And then 53 minus 39, you can use your calculator. Right? So 53 minus 39. So it's 14. And then 72 minus 53 is 19. And then 80 minus 72 is 8. Okay? And you can double check and see. After you plus all of it, you will get 80. Alright? Okay, after you get the frequency, you know that how many students? So it means that for students that get 20 to 29 marks, there's 5 students. 5 students that get 20 to 29 marks. 13 students that get 30 to 39 marks, and so on. And you have to realize that this is a group data. So a group data. So let's keep reading here. So they say, Mr. Edry, the subject teacher intends to give reward to the best 20 students. Determine the minimum marks should be obtained by the student in order for them to receive the award. So the award is for what? Top 20 students. Top 20. So some of you will say, oh, top 20 here. So the answer is 8 plus 19. Okay, you have to understand something. 8 plus 19 is what? 8 plus 19 is like 27. It means that there is 27 students that get from 60 marks to 79 marks. But I only want to give for the top 20 students. So it means that from the 27 students here, 7 students has to be, the 7 lowest one has to be eliminated. It has to be excluded. It means they cannot receive the award. Only the top 20. So what they are asking is, what is the minimum marks required if you want to get the reward? So it will be somewhere around 60 to 79. Do you agree? It will be at least 60, and at most 79. Alright? So it will be somewhere here. But how much is it? So what you do here is you need to find the. Alright, can you see this is 80? The cumulative the total frequency is 80. So if the total frequency is 80 and you want to know the top 20, it means that you are finding the third quartile. You are finding the third quartile. Because 80 from 80 students, you only want the top 20. Right? Top 20. When you times 1 over 4, you get 20. Right? But if you find Q1, you are finding the worst 20. What you need is the Q3, which is times 3 over 4. So you get 60 here. Right? I hope you understand why is it Q3. So you find the Q3 here, and the formula will be log L plus lower boundary plus 3 over 4n minus f over fn over fq3 times c. The lower boundary will be the lower boundary of the Q3 class. So you need to know which one is the Q3 class and which one is the Q3 class. 80 times 3 over 4 is 60. So 60 is around here. Right? So this is the Q3 class. And what's the lower boundary? 59.5. Plus with the 3 over 4n. 3 over 4n is 60. So you can plus with 60. Minus the big F is cumulative frequency before class. 53. And the frequency of class will be 90, and the size of class will be 90. 19 also. Sorry, this is the size of class. Sorry, this is frequency 19, correct, but the size of class is 10. Right? So how to find the size of class? So remember, size of class, there's a formula. Take the upper boundary minus lower boundary. I already go through this with you in normal class. Alright, so this one no problem. Okay, I'll show you all the you all can do. Okay, so upper boundary is 29.5, lower boundary is 19.5, and when you minus, you get 10. Right? That's how you get the size of class. 60 minus 53 is 7. 7 times 10 is 70. 70 divide 19 plus 59.5. So you become 70 divide 19 plus 59.5. So you should get 63.1842. 63.1842. It means, so just now I say what? Your marks will definitely be 60 until 79. So this is the number. It means that the minimum mark you should obtain is 63.1842. Okay, I write 4 decimal place, but you can write 2 decimal place if you want. Okay, different teacher, different advice. Okay, but I always prefer to write 4 okay, because this is the safest. Okay, just to be safe Okay, just to be safe. Okay, one more thing is maybe some of you will say, hey, what if I find Q1 here? If you find Q1 here, what do you get? Your marks will be somewhere here. Okay, if you find Q1, will be 1 over 4 times, so it's 20. And 20 will be here. Right? And the answer you get will be 40 to 49. Like, does it make sense? Like, the award will be given to top 20 student, and the top 20 student, the minimum mark is like 40 to 49. It doesn't make any sense, right? So, what you need is to find the Q3, because they say top 20, not lowest 20, the top 20. So, it's the Q3. Okay, alright, hope you understand. Let's look at the next question here. So, number 5. So, number 5 is what? So, a conical container with radius which is half of its height is filled with water. So, a conical container. So I draw a cone, alright? So, this is number 5. So, they say what? The radius is half of its height. The radius is here. The height is here. The radius is half of its height. So, I can write this. For now, I just write what I see. Okay, what I see is the same radius, that's what I write. And then what else? At the same time, water seems to leak away from the vertex of the cone. It means that I draw my cone wrongly already. Because if your cone is like this, takkan your water leak from here, right? It's terbalik already lah. Okay, I draw the cone terbalik already. Because this is a container. And usually container mesti lah mulut dia yang besar. Right? Like the opening of the container will be big, right? So this is how the cone should look like, and then there's water like leak up from here. This is the radius, and this is the height, and the height will be half the radius. So the radius will be half the height. Okay, so far that's the information we have. And then the next line they say if the level of water decrease from 4 to 3.9, the level of water. So there's some water here, right? So the level of water is what? It should be H. Okay, it should be H. It should be H decreases from 4 to 3.9. That's what it means. 4 to 3.9. And then what else they give you? Find the approximate change in volume of water. Approximate change. When you see the word approximate change or you see the word small change, it means what? It means perubahan kecil. It means what you want to find is to find the delta V. Okay? So find the approximate change. Ataupun small change, they mean the same thing. It means you find the delta V. And how to find the delta V? So, untuk soalan jenis small change, you only have to remember one thing. dy dx almost equals to delta y over delta x. But in this case, it will not be dy dx. It will be dv dh. Okay, dv dh equals to delta v over delta h. Okay, how I know it's delta v over delta h? Because look here, they give you 4 to 3.9. It means that you can find delta h from here. Take 3.9 minus 4, you get negative 0.1. From here, they even give you the volume of cone in case you don't know. Right? They give you the soalan 1 over 3 pi r square h. Alright? So, this is the volume formula. And now what you do? dv you want to find. Delta v you want to find. Delta h you know is negative 0.1. So, isn't it I have to do here dv dh and then masuk sini? Because I need to find delta v. So delta v is this thing times negative 0.1. So I need this thing here. That's why I leave some space here. So what I do is I dv dh. But the problem here is when you want to find dv dh, you need an equation with v in terms of h, not v in terms of r and h. Okay, you cannot have two unknowns like this. So what you do is you have to try to make the r away. Okay, like you don't want the r. You want it to be v in terms of h only. The pi is a number, so pi is not an unknown. So the pi is a k1. Okay, it's just that I have to make sure it's v in terms of h only. So what I can do is r is 1 over 2h. So I have to substitute the r becomes 1 over 2h. Or okay, I write h over 2 square. It's the same one, it's the same thing. 1 over 2h means h over 2. So the r I gantikan with h over 2. And then I try to open the bracket. So it becomes 1 over 3 pi. What is h over 2 square? H square over 4. H square over 4. And times with h will become h over 3 over 4. Right? And what's next is you times atas, darab atas, bawah, darab bawah. So it becomes 12 here becomes pi, here becomes h over 3. Alright? Okay, I'll write it like this. Okay, it's the same one, right? It's the same one, right? So 1 over 3 times 4 is 12 pi h cubed, like this. Alright. Now we can start to differentiate dv dh. Just now cannot because it's v in terms of r and h. So now B in terms of H only already. So now I can do deviation. 3 times 1 over 2 is 1 over 4. And the power I have minus 1 is pi squared like this. And then H2 kacau. Macam mana? Remember, the H you can always substitute back the original value. What do I mean by original value? Like from 4 to 3.9, right? So this is the original value 4. So what you do is you muscle into it, so it becomes 1 over 2 times 4 squared in this. 4 squared is 16, 16 divided 4 is 4. So 4 pi is it. Alright, 4 pi. So 4 pi, you muscle sini lah, because we know dVdh is 4 pi. So 4 pi, muscle sini. So what is delta V? 4 pi times negative 0.1 is negative 0.4 pi. Since it's volume, you have to write cm cubed. That's the answer. Alright, what do you understand? Next question will be number 6. Number 6 is also differentiation. Number 6 is also differentiation, and I also already teach this. Okay? So number 6, find the value of limit x approaching infinity 3x over 2 minus x. Alright? And what about b? Okay, what about b? The b is 1 over u plus 1 over b equals to 1 over 3, and then find dv du. Alright, let's do it. Limit x approaching infinity 3x 2 minus x. So what you do? You learn this with me already. If they say limit x, it means you have to substitute the infinity here. Alright? So it becomes what? 3 times infinity over 2 minus infinity. How to do? What is 3 times infinity? Okay, ada siapa boleh buat? Right? 3 times infinity, what? And then you have to divide dengan 2 minus infinity. So how to do? 3 infinity over 2 minus infinity. What's the answer? Alright? You cannot do. Why? Why you cannot do? It's because you cannot take a number plus infinity. You cannot take a number minus infinity. You cannot take a number times infinity. But you can take a number divide infinity. I repeat again. You cannot take a number plus infinity. You cannot take a number minus infinity. You cannot take a number times infinity. But you can take a number divide infinity. Because when you take a number, any number, let's say 2, when you divide by infinity, you will get 0. Okay? 3 divided by infinity? 0. Okay, maybe you don't believe me. Right? Maybe you don't believe me. Okay? Maybe you are, how to say, skeptical. Right? Like, betul ke Choon Hau is really 2 divided by infinity, is that really 0? Alright, I can prove to you. Okay? I can prove to you. 6 equals, okay, sorry, 4, okay, 6 minus 2 equals to 4, right? 6 minus 2 equals to 4. So what is 6 minus 4? The negative 2, when I move it, it becomes plus 2. So 4, I can deny, I mean this 2, I can actually divide it. It means that if 6 minus 2 is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2. Why? Because I can move the negative 2, it becomes plus 2 here, and the 4 I can move here, it becomes minus 4 here. Okay? That's why. Alright? What if I ask you 6 divided 3 is 2? 6 divided 3 is 2. What's 6 divided 2? 3. Again, why? Why you can just take these 2 and tukar tempat? Because divide jadi times jadi divide. So they switch place. So now I ask you one more thing. If 1 divided 0 is what? 1 divided 0 is not 0. Huh? If you use your calculator and tekan 1 divided 0 is math error. And math error here means infinity. So using the same concept, what's 1 divided infinity? You're right. It's 0. Okay, it's 0. So 3. So now you know that actually you can divide by infinity. Okay? So what you do is you want to try to make this so that the x berada di bawah. You want to make sure the x is berada at the denominator dekat bawah. Why? Because you can divide by infinity. But you cannot times with infinity, you cannot plus, you cannot minus with infinity. But you can divide by infinity. So how do you make the x supaya x berada di bawah? You choose the x with the highest power. X power 1, x power 1. So the x with highest power is x. So what you do is you divide x, you divide x, you divide x. So what happens is you get limit x approaching infinity. Here will be 3, here will be 2 over x, here will be 1. Alright, how do you understand? Because the x and x potong already, x and x potong already, so like this. And now, you can substitute the infinity masuk. Because 2 divided infinity is 0. So the answer is negative 3. Okay? 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 3 divided 1 is negative 3. Alright? So this is how we do it. Alright? That's all. Next, 1 v equals 1 over 3, and then find dv du. Let me repeat again what I said just now. If you want to find dv du, you need the equation of v in terms of u first. Alright? You need the equation of v in terms of u, and then only you can find dv du. But now look at the equation. It's like 1 over u plus 1 over u is 1 over 3, so it's not v in terms of u. So what you do is you need to change it to what? V in terms of u. How? First of all, I see fraction. Fraction, I always try to hilangkan the fraction. Okay? If I see fraction, I always try to hilangkan fraction. So how to hilangkan? Times v times u times uv. It means I make everything so that the power for everything is over 3 uv. Okay? So so actually this one you have to times 3v lah. And so it will be times 3u. Here will be times uv. So atas kita dalam benda yang sama juga. Okay, the up also you have to times the same thing. So you get 3v di atas, 3u plus uv equals. And when the denominator is already the same, you don't have to write this thing anymore. Okay, you don't have to write, because it's like this. It's like this, 3uv or 3uv. So actually if both the denominator is the same, you can cancel already. Okay, you don't have to write it. So you are left with this. So remember what I want. I want dv du. It means I want v in terms of u first. So how I do it is I will kumpulkan v at one place. Here got v, I will put it at one place. So 3v minus uv. Why I put it at one place? So that I can factorize. And when I factorize, it becomes 3 minus u here. And I can find v. So what is v? 3u over 3 minus u. Why? What's the purpose of doing this? To differentiate, to find dv du. And now I can find dv du. So dv du is equals to, so this one, kalau ada unknown dekat bawah, you cannot differentiate. So what you have to do is you have to try to naik ke atas. But can you naik ke atas? Tak boleh. Sebab atas sudah ada u. Okay? Remember, kalau ada unknown dekat bawah tak boleh differentiate. So you have to naikkan. But not always you can naikkan. Like for example 3 over u. Okay, like this you can naikkan 3u minus 1. But what if I give 3u plus 1 over u? You cannot tell me u naikkan, tak boleh. Because this atas sudah ada u. Nanti u and this u nanti dia baru. Okay, so tak boleh. So this one dia sudah satu family. So you tak boleh kacau dia. So maksudnya kalau you tak boleh naikkan, you try to pecahkan. Okay, pecahkan. So it becomes 3u over u plus 1 over u. Alright? But what if you cannot pecahkan also? You cannot naikkan, you cannot pecahkan. Then you have to use the quotient rule. Okay? What is quotient rule? Salin v differentiate u. Salin v differentiate u. Tolak dengan salin u differentiate v. Per dengan v square. So this is the formula you need to use. So what you do? Alright, I don't have enough space, so I will erase here. So continue from there. V equals to 3u over 3 minus u. This is u. Yang atas is u, yang bawah is v. Alright? So the dv du will be salin v 3 minus u. Salin v differentiate u. So differentiate 3u is 3 minus salin u differentiate v. So salin u salin 3u. Differentiate v is negative 1. Alright? I hope you know why it's negative 1. Because differentiate 3 is 0, differentiate negative u is negative 1. Over then v square. So 3 minus u square. Now the rest is simple already. Because 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 3u. Negative times negative 1 first. It becomes positive 1 plus 3u. And then here is 3 minus u squared. Alright, let me erase this. 3u plus negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so the answer is 9 over 3 minus u squared. Alright, so that's the answer. Right, that will be the answer. Alright, and so let's go to the next question. Number 7. Number 7. Diagram 7 shows a shaded region bounded by curve y equals hx and the x-axis from A to B. This is y-axis, this is x-axis, this is A, this is B, and this is the shaded region, and this is y equals hx. A. 3f prime x equals hx, and the fx AB equals to negative 5. Alright? I feel like as the question, as I progress, my handwriting becomes more ugly. Okay, I hope you understand because I want to, because there's a lot of questions. Okay, I want to finish it faster. Alright, I want to finish it faster. Alright, wait, I think did I make a mistake here? 3u over 3 minus u. Sin b differentiate u minus sin u. So you have a negative plus 3u. Betul right? Betul kan? Is it correct? uv. Alright, here 3u equals to, okay, 3u equals to uv minus 3v lah. Alright, sorry, I made a mistake. So you should be uv minus 3v, right? Okay, okay, so you should be factorize v is u minus 3 here, and then 3u, and v will be 3u over u minus 3. So it's not 3 minus u here, it's u minus 3, sorry. Alright, so let's do it again. Alright, so let's erase the whole thing lah. Okay, so what to do? Salin v differentiate u, tolak dengan salin u differentiate v dibahagikan dengan v square. Salin v u minus 3, differentiate u 3, salin minus, and then salin u 3u, salin v differentiate, salin u differentiate v, so 1. Right? So v square, u minus 3 square. That's all. So the answer will be 3u minus 9 minus 3u. Here will be u minus 3 square. 3u, 3u is 0, so negative 9 times u minus 3 square. Right? So let me check the answer. Yes, that's correct. Alright, next. Number 7. Number 7, they say diagram 7 shows a shaded region bounded by the graph y equals hx and the x-axis from a to b. So the shaded region is what? The shaded region is integrate from a to b hx dx. Okay, this is the shaded region, the area of shaded region. Alright? But a, they say what? It is given that 3f prime x equals to hx, and so I use a comma. fx from a to b like this is negative 5. And then they say what? State the area of shaded region. If they want to state the area of shaded region, means they want you to find this lah. Integrate BA hx dx. So how to find integrate BA hx dx? You use the info they give you. So they give you what? 3f prime x equals to hx. Apa maksudnya? What does it mean by 3f prime x equals to hx? What is this? F prime. F prime. What's f prime? F prime means differentiate lah. It means that 3 times the comma here is not f inverse, you know. F inverse is like this. This is the symbol for differentiation. So actually what it means is 3 times differentiate fx equals to hx. That's what it means. This is what it means. 3 times differentiate fx equals to hx. So maksudnya, the 3 I can pindah over there. It becomes d dx fx equals to hx over 3. So I want to ask you something. Differentiate fx dapat hx over 3. Differentiate fx dapat hx over 3. Kalau macam ni, integrate hx over 3 dapat balik fx. Betul? Because differentiate and integrate they are berlawanan. So if differentiate fx, I get hx over 3. Integrate hx over 3, I get back fx. Alright? So the d here I can move here, it becomes integrate. Integrate. So integrate hx over 3 dx, I get fx. Okay, I get fx. Right? And then you continue from here. What do you do? Look what I want. I want integrate hx dx only. I don't want integrate hx over 3. So what I can do with the over 3? The over 3, you can take it out. So fx, you can take it out like this, 1 over 3. And then hx dx. And then now you can find integrate hx dx, which is the 1 over 3 you can add times 3 here. So integrate hx dx is what? It's 3fx. Boleh faham ke? It's 3fx. Alright? So, maybe some of you will say, boleh ke? The 1 over 3 boleh ke? Like, if it's inside lah, boleh ke letak depan? Boleh lah. Alright? You all already learned this, right? Properties of definite integral. Ada 5. Okay? What's the first property? Integrate BA k fx dx is the k you can put in front, so it becomes BA fx dx. That's the first property. Okay, so now I have to write here a bit. The next property is integrate BA fx dx. Saya boleh terbalikkan dua nombor ni to AB, tapi saya kena tambah negatif di depan, like this. Alright, so I want to terbalikkan can, but I need to tambah negatif in front. Okay, next property. Integrate CB fx dx tambah dengan integrate, let's say, okay, it should be, okay, here should be fx dx, and here should be CB, okay, tamam. Okay, boleh lah, CB and then BA. Saya boleh gabungkan, right? If I want to integrate integrate B to C fx dx plus integrate A to B fx dx, dia boleh potong jadi integrate C to A fx dx. Tapi ada satu syarat. Syarat dia adalah fx dengan fx dalam keadaan sama, baru boleh cantumkan. And also another condition is dia mesti like here and here. Okay, dia silang mesti sama, like this, B and B. And then when you potong, it's tinggal to C and A. Alright, next property. What's next property? Integrate BA fx plus minus gx dx. Saya boleh pecahkan variable. Okay, ada bilang integrate BA fx dx plus minus integrate gx dx. Okay, here also BA. It means that if I want to integrate BA fx something plus something and then dx, I can pecahkan. The plus minus sign here means that if here is plus, here is plus, here is minus, here is minus, so ikut lah. Maksudnya ikut sini. Alright, so that's the, how many properties? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more. So what's the last one? Integrate AA fx dx will be 0. Right? If the number here and the number here is the same, dia wajib equals to 0. Alright, let's come back here. Integrate BA hx dx. So now you know, right? So now you know already the 3 actually you can put in front. Okay? So 1 over 3. So now you know integrate hx dx is 3fx. So integrate hx dx is 3fx. But look carefully, guys. Integrate A to B. This is integrate hx dx without the, how to say, without the number here. And when integrate this, you know it's 3fx. But you have to consider this number here, which is from B atas A bawah. But easily they will give you here fx. So if you number, I have to write here also lah, B atas A bawah macam tu. Right? If there's no number here, you have to write plus C. Remember? You have to write plus C. But if there's a number here, you have to write a number here. So what is fxba? Look carefully. This fxab is negative 5. So if ba, 5 lah. So the answer is 15. Okay, why is it like this? Use the properties that you just learned. Because fx, you can terbalikkan jadi BA. You can terbalikkan jadi BA. Tapi awak kena tambah negatif in front. Okay, so it becomes negative. Sorry. So fxBA sama dengan negatif fx AB. So it becomes negative like this. Okay, that's what it means. Okay. So if I want the fxBA, which is what I want, which is here, what I do is I can terbalikkan jadi AB, but I have to tambah negative in front. And after I tambah negative, this whole thing is negative 5. Can you see? So that's how you get. So here it is 5. That's why fxBA is 5. Alright. Okay, that's all. Hope you understand. Alright, let's look at the next question. I'll erase this first. Actually, you can pause the video one, okay? Like if I'm done explaining, okay, but you not yet done, you not yet habis salin, you can pause the video, right? You can pause the video and then digest it again, right? Or you can also, how to say, rewind, right? You can also rewind, okay, rewind and watch it again, okay? And pause, right? Because this is the video, okay? So I will not wait lah, okay? I will just go through everything faster. Okay, A, they want you to state magnitude of unit vector. unit vector in direction 2pq. Alright, so how should I do this? The answer is 1. Okay, I will tell you that the answer is 1. Okay, the answer is 1. But if I explain it like this, student, how to say, like some student they might say like, how you know? Right? How you know it's 1? Okay, show me proof. Okay, like prove to me. Like why is it 1? Okay, when you see the word magnitude of unit vector, the answer will be 1. Magnitude of unit vector, the answer will be 1. Always 1. Okay, so actually you just write 1 and then total already. Alright, but I'm sure you are not satisfied with. If I explain it like this, you will not be satisfied. So, okay, I'll prove to you. What does it mean by the magnitude of unit vector? First of all, you need to find the unit vector first. Because you want to find magnitude untuk unit vector of this. So you need to find the unit vector of this first and then baru cari magnitude. Unit vector formula is what? Unit vector in direction 2pq. The formula will be 1 over magnitude dalam dengan vector. This is the vector. That's the formula for unit vector. So what you need is you need to find the magnitude of this first. So how to find the magnitude? Square root formula for it is square root something square plus something square. So it will be what? 2p square plus q square. So it will be what? Square root 4p square plus q square. This is the magnitude, and this is where you write. You write it here. Square root 4p square plus q square. And then for the vector, you put 2pq. That's all. That's the unit vector. But look carefully. Is that what the question asks? State magnitude of unit vector. Dia tak panggil awak state unit vector. Kalau state unit vector, this is the answer. What if they say state magnitude? State magnitude. If state magnitude, this is the answer. This is the magnitude, this is the unit vector. But state magnitude of unit vector. State magnitude of unit vector. It means that you have to find the unit vector and find again the magnitude of this thing. Maksudnya awak kena darab masuk jadi 2p over dengan square root 4p square plus q square. And then darab masuk jadi q over square root 4p square plus q square. And then find again the magnitude of this. And how to find the magnitude of this? Use back the formula square root something square plus something square. But this time, what the number you put in is different. It's not 2p and q anymore. Because what you do is you're finding magnitude of unit vector. So the number will be this 2p over square root 4p square plus q square. And here will be q over square root 4p square plus q square. And let's continue from here. So square root, okay, what is 2p square? 4p square lah, right? What is square root 4p square? Okay, yang ni kalau square atas kena square, bawah kena square. So the square root and the square potong already. So just tinggal with 4p square plus q square. Alright, I hope you understand. Because square root and square, they can cancel each other, right? The square root and square. So just leave with what's inside here. Alright, what about here? Q square? Okay, q square, just like q square. Square root 4p square square. Square root 4p square plus q square square. So the square root and square potong. Tinggal with 4p square plus q square. So what is it? Nampak tak denominator is the same. If the denominator is the same, we doublekan so it becomes 4p square plus q square. So doublekan atas pun boleh gabung 4p square plus q square. Potong. Square root 1. So I come back to here. Magnitude of unit vector, the answer will be 1. You want proof? This is the proof. Alright? So sebenarnya when you see the word state magnitude of unit vector, you don't have to do all of this anymore. The answer will be 1. The answer will be 1. If you want to do this also can. Okay? But you don't have to. Right? The answer is 1. Because this one is only 1 mark only. Right? Yeah. They give you 3 marks. For A is like 1 mark only. For B is like 2 marks. Okay? So you don't have to do all of this. Okay? But if you write it, you bother. Okay? So this is the proof. Okay? Actually, so just remember when you see they ask state magnitude of unit vector, the answer will be 1. Right? Let's continue with B here. Given P is negative 4, 3. I write it down. So negative 4, 3. Q is K2. Find the value of K such that P plus 3Q is parallel to X equals K. Parallel. So I use this symbol X equals to K. Alright? So what to do? You need to know this is coordinate vector. Okay, coordinate vector. This is dalam bentuk IJ. Okay, because because if it's correct vector means dalam bentuk ij lah. So you can write this as negative 4i plus 3j. You can write this as ki plus 2j. So what does it mean by p plus 3q parallel with x equals k? Maksudnya, let's find p plus 3q first. Let's find p plus 3q first. Negative 4, 3. So I should write p plus 3q equals to negative 4, 3 plus with 3 times q, which is k2. And when you dah masuk, dia menjadi negative 4 plus 3k. And sini akan jadi 3 plus 6 is 9. Alright? So that will be the p plus 3q vector. But they say find value of k when these two lines are parallel. X equals to k. X equals to k. X equals to k means this line is parallel with what axis? Can you tell me? Okay? Tak apa, saya boleh dengar. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, x equals k means what? Parallel with what axis? Plus y axis. Y axis. X equals k means what? Let's say k is here. X equals k. So parallel with y axis. So kalau parallel with y axis, maksudnya atas pergerakan kiri kanan is zero lah. Faham maksud saya? Because you know that for this ij coordinate vector, nombor yang atas ni menggambarkan like pergerakan kiri kanan, and this one is for atas bawah. So kalau dia parallel with y axis, ada ke pergerakan kiri kanan? Tak ada. So there is no vector here. The number here will be zero. Maksudnya I just take negative 4 plus 3k equals to 0. Boleh ke? Sebab tak ada, because it's tak ada pergerakan I. Okay, it's just pergerakan j only. Okay, so for pergerakan I is kosong. So negative 4 plus 3k equals kosong. Okay, sepatutnya kalau parallel, you need to tambah unknown here. Remember, you have to tambah like k ataupun lambda or anything. Okay, you have to tambah unknown here. But it doesn't matter because even if you tambah also, the right hand side will be 0. And k times 0 is 0. Alright, so just take negative 4 plus 3k equals to tambah lah, okay, k is 0. Right? And it will become 0 also. So negative 4 plus 3k. So okay, cannot tambah k actually because you already have k. So you can tambah like n or lambda or any symbol, right? But you don't have to tambah because n times 0 is 0 also. So what's k? 4 over negative 4 over 3. Okay, that's the answer. Right? So hope you understand. Number 9 is also vector. Okay, but I need to draw this out first. Okay, this question is quite difficult. Okay, so I'll draw it out. Okay, soalan ni susah sikit. Okay, so O here, D here, P here, C here, B here. Okay, for this one I will study the soalan for you because it's a difficult question. So OA equals to 6A, OC equals to 12C, OP ratio PC is 3:1. And then A, they want you to express AP. So AP equals to question mark. And then, okay, I'll just erase lah. Okay. If you want to, you can rewind. Okay, you can rewind. Okay. If I'm too fast, you can just pause the video, digest it first, or rewind it. Okay. So I'll just erase it. Okay. Area of PDC is 4. PDC is 4. Okay. Because if I wait until you finish, then this video will be like 5 hours already. Okay? Okay, so perpendicular distance from A to BD is 5. So perpendicular distance from A to BD equals to 5. And then find A. Find the magnitude of A actually, not find A. Alright, done already. Okay, so still need to read the question also lah. Okay, diagram 9 shows a parallelogram OABC. If it's a parallelogram, alright, if it's a parallelogram, maksudnya OA and vector CB sama. Vector OC and vector AB sama because it's parallelogram. Okay, parallelogram the opposite will have the same vector. ABD, OBC and DCB are straight line. OA is 6A. Sini 6A, sini 6A juga because it's parallelogram, right? OC is 12C. OC is 12C. Okay. What I will do here is I will write here 12C instead of writing here. Because can you see the P is blocking? So if you label here, nanti you sendiri confused now. Nanti you thought like, oh, this one is OP, but it's actually OC. So the 12C what you can do is you don't write it first, okay? But you can write it here, okay? So but you know it's 12C, okay? But I don't recommend writing it, okay? I don't recommend it. You can label it here. Okay, no need lah, okay. If you want to, because I thought nanti dia jadi messy, so let's leave it like this one. Alright, OP ratio PC is 3:1. So OP is 3, PC is 1. OP, mana OP? Sini 3. Sini PC is 1. Okay, wait. I just told you that OC is 12C. So if you say 3:1, boleh lah cari sini dengan sini. Betul? Because O to P is 3/4 times 12C. P to C is 1/4 times 12C. And you will get 3C here, you will get 9C here. Agree? You just take 12C divided by 4. So sini 3, 1. So total ada 4 portion. So 12 divided by 4, you get 1 portion 3C. And 12 minus 3 is 9. Alright, that's how you do it. Okay, so for A, you want to find vector AP. Okay, this is very simple lah. Vector AP, you find A to P. A, O, O, P. So A, O plus O, P. So what's A, O? OA is 6A, AO is negative 6A. OP is 9C. But show them now how you get the 9. How you get the 9C just now? 3/4 times OC. Okay, O to P is 3/4. Because here is 3, the total is 4. And OP only, dia hanya ambil 3 bahagian saja. Dari 4 bahagian, dia hanya, how to say, it only occupies 3 out of 4. Okay, so ada 4 dia hanya ambil 3 bahagian. So negative 68 means from 4 portion, it only occupies 3 portion. So it becomes plus 3/4, the OC is what? 12C lah, 12C. And when you potong, you will really get 9 one. Because it's 3 there. So the answer is negative 68 plus 9C. And that will be the answer. That's all for A. For B, I already signed the soalan. So you don't have to look at the soalan anymore. The area of PDC is for, okay, PDC here, PDC. Okay? Police, Diraja, Cameron. Whatever. Okay, so the area of PDC equals to 4. Right? It means what? 1/2 times base times height equals to 4. But for now, I don't know what is the base and I don't know what is the height. So, leave it first now. Alright, don't write first now. Okay, perpendicular distance from A to BD is 5. What does it mean here? Perpendicular distance from A to BD. Okay, it means you kena tarik tegak-tegak dari A. Tegak. Perpendicular means kena tegak. So A to BD. Tegak. Lagi sah? Tegak. No lah, okay. A lot of students they thought tarik to the middle now. They tarik to the middle. No tarik tegak-tegak ni like this. Okay, I mean this is 5. Perpendicular mah, 90 mah. Perpendicular 90 degree. Okay, so perpendicular. So this is the height of this is 5. And then they say find this is not modulus, the magnitude. Okay, in vector this symbol is used to find is used to, how to say, it means magnitude. Okay, so how to find? First of all, saya parang P ini. What do you see? You see triangle, right? You see triangle. You see a big triangle, you see a small triangle. A big triangle is what? You see a big triangle which is ABD. And you see a small triangle which is PDC. And let's transfer some information. 12C. Here, 3C. Alright? What else? The height is 5. Okay, the height here is not 5, right? It's not 5. Okay, it's something else. What else? 6A. Okay, 6A. Where is 6A? Right? Okay, 6A is like a random. There's a random point here, point C, and that will be the 6A. Okay, but for now this is useless. Okay. What you can see here? Can you see that the triangle ADB is actually PDC after enlarge. After you enlarge PDC, you get ADB. Remember you learned in maths transformation. Okay, there's translation, reflection, rotation, enlargement. And in enlargement, what you learn? In enlargement, there's 2 things you need to know. So for enlargement, it will involve the center of enlargement, and it will also involve the K, which is the scale factor. And how to find the scale factor? You just take the length of image divided by the length of object. So can you tell me, This is an enlargement. Can you see PDC? After enlargement, it becomes bigger. How many times bigger? I don't know. But you can find out what is the center and what is the scale factor. Where is the center? Can you tell me where is the center of enlargement? It's at D, correct? It's at D. This is the center of enlargement, right? Because these two lines intersect here, alright? So this will be the center of enlargement. And what about the scale factor? Scale factor means dia besarkan berapa kali ganda. Dia besarkan berapa kali ganda. So from PDC besarkan to ADB, besarkan berapa kali ganda. If you want to know besarkan berapa kali ganda, which is the scale factor, you take the length of image, you have the length of object. Nampak tak sini 12C, sini 3C. So besarkan berapa kali ganda? From 3C become 12C. It means 3C to 12C are times 4. It means that the triangle ABD is 4 times bigger than PCD. Can you understand? And they say the area here is 4. Remember? Area of PDC is 4. Alright? And they say the height here is 5. So how to do it? You already know this is 4 times bigger than this. Right? This is 4 times bigger than this. So how to do? It means what? Here is 5, correct? Here is 5. So what is here? 12C, you divide 4. So the 5 also you have to divide 4 if you want to find out what's the height here. Alright? So 5, here the perpendicular height will be 5 over 4. Why? Because this is 4 times smaller. So 5 over 4. 5 over 4. Okay, why I do this is because I know the area for PDC is 4. It means 1 over 2 times base times height equals to 4. And what is the base of the triangle? I don't know yet. Okay, it's okay, I leave it. But the height I already know is 5 over 4. Okay, for the DC here, actually, you can find out. You can find actually what is the DC here. Because the DC here is actually 2A. Okay? Okay, let's look back into this diagram. You already know this is 4 times bigger. It means that here will be 1, here will be 3. Agree? 3, I have to times 4, then 12C. And the area here is 6A, you know, 6A. It means the 6A is for 3 portion, here will be 1 portion. I hope you understand why is it 1, 3 lah. Don't cukupkan 4 lah. Because this is, okay, let's say for example this is 1 cm. 1 cm. Can you tell me how many cm here? Some of you might say 4 cm, which is wrong. Because 4 cm is here. If here is 1 cm, here will be 4 cm. Because I have to times 4. But that's not what I asked. What I asked is here. So if here is 1, here is 4, what is here? Here is 3. So I convert it into ratio, so it becomes 1, 3. So now I ask one thing. C to B ratio 3 is 6A. What's here? 6A divide 3. So here is 2A. So actually this here is 2A. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, this is 2A. And that will be the base. So what you do is you have to take 1 or 2 times base times height equals to 4. And the base will be the magnitude of 2A. For magnitude, you can take out the modulus. You can take out the 2. So it leaves with magnitude of A times 5 over 4 equals to 4. And now you can find the magnitude of A. What do you do? Handa. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8, 32 over 5. Divide 2, 16 over 5. Right? Or 3.2 units. Right? So that's the answer. Okay. Let me double check with my calculator. Okay, yes. Alright, that's all. So, panjang lah soal ni. Okay, I use one whiteboard already. The whole whiteboard to explain one question only. Okay? That's why just now I said it's only susah. Okay, I erase. Okay, you can pause the video if you want or rewind. Okay? Next question will be number 10. Okay, but let me erase it first. So number 10, this is, what is this? This is probability, I think. Is it? Okay, let's read the question first. The sample space S and its subset A, B, C, D are defined as follows. S equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is 6. B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C C is 2, 3, 4, 5. D is 3, 4, 5, 6. A, nyatakan N A intersect B. B. Determine. So, two events that are exhaustive comma, not mutually exclusive. And then for the last question is the same thing. Also determine the two events that are mutually exclusive but not exhaustive. Apa ni? Apa maksud ni? Alright, we do A first. So number 10, they give you a bunch of, like a lot of set A, set B, set C, set D, and then they say state the N A intersect B. What is A intersect N? What is the N here stands for? Number of elements. Okay? Bilangan unsur. So berapa unsur yang A intersect B? So A intersect B, any common elements, any element yang sama. Tak ada, so kosong. Okay, that was the answer. What if I change the question to A intersect B? A intersect B. What's A intersect B? What do you have to write? A intersect B. You cannot write 0. You have to write empty set. Ataupun like this. Okay? These two are symbols for empty set. But if they put an N here, it means bilangan. It means the answer should be 1 or 2 or 3 like this. It means berapa A intersect B ada berapa bilangan yang like how many, like the intersect how many elements. Okay, how many common elements. So for this it will be 0. Okay? And what if you put the empty set here like this? It's wrong also. You cannot put like this also. Okay, it's wrong. You have to put 0 because N is for bilangan. It means how many. Alright? B. Determine the two events that are exhaustive and but not mutually exclusive. What is exhaustive? What is exclusive? Exhaustive means these two events, the union will be the sample space. Then it's exhaustive. For example, they say the state two events that are exhaustive. It means that the union of these two sets will be the sample space. What is union? Combine, gabungkan. So A and B. Can you tell me, is A and B exhaustive? Is A union B the sample space? Is A gabung dengan B? If you take A gabung with B, do you get the sample space? Yes. Because A gabung B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So A and B, yes, they are exhaustive. What about A and C? 6 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Gabungkan. Do you get the sample space? No. Because the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you double this, you only get 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So A and C is not exhaustive. So you know A and C is definitely not the answer. What about A and D? Is A union D the sample space? You take A and double with D. Do you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So 6 double with this is just 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the 6 ada dua kali, but you write what you tulis sekali saja. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not A and D. So A, B sudah try, A, C sudah try, A, D sudah try. Next will be BC. BC. Is B and C mutually exhaustive? Are they exhaustive? So try to see whether B union C is it the sample space. It's not. There's no 6. Okay, there's no 6. What about B and D? B and D boleh because B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D is 3, 4, 5, 6. So B and D, yes, B and D is mutually exhaustive. Alright, B and D. Okay, and then the last one to try is C and D. So you try one by one. Try with A, B, A, C, A, D, and then B, C, B, D, and then C, D. Okay, so now the last one is we try C, D. Okay, C, D. Is C and D exhaustive? No, there's no one. Okay, C union D is not the sample space. There's no one here. So C and D is definitely not the answer. So there is two, A and B ataupun B and D. So you know that they want two events that are exhaustive, and there is these two possible answer for exhaustive. But it's not over yet because they say what? Determine two events that are exhaustive but not exclusive. What does it mean by not not exclusive. Not exclusive. First of all, what is exclusive? Exclude. Exclusive comes from the word exclude. It means what? Exclude. Right? It means they are not, they do not touch. They don't touch each other. It means these two sets, they don't, how to say? They are excluded lah. They are excluded. Right? Exclude. Means they are separate. So what does it mean by not exclude? It means they got intersect lah. How does it? I repeat again. Mutually exclusive means separate. Exclude, right? Exclusive. Excluded. Exclude. But if I say not exclusive means not separate. So which one is not separate? Which one is not separate? You don't have to check if A, C, C, D, or, because this one will be confirmed. It's only two possible answers only. So it's either A and B or B and B. So A and B. Do they have? Are they like this or like this? I want this one. So A and B. If you look at A and B, do they have intersect? They don't have intersect. So if they don't have intersect, they are this one. It means A and B is like this. It means it is like this means it's mutually exclusive. This one is non-mutually exclusive. So it means that A and B I have to bottom. Because they want non-mutually exclusive. So the answer will be B and B. Let's double check and see if B and B really have intersect. So B and B, do they have intersect? Yes. 3, 4, 5 is the intersect. So that's the answer. Okay, the next one. Okay, now for the B, I already take a long time explaining. Right? But for C, I can explain faster already. Because if you understand this, you can do this. Two events that are mutually exclusive but not exhaustive. Do one by one. Okay, don't tengok sekali. Try to find which one is mutually exclusive first. And then list down all the possibility and then bottom eliminate one by one. So mutually exclusive. What's mutually exclusive? Separate means no intersection. So let's start with A and B. Do they have intersection? No intersection. So yes, A and B are mutually exclusive. So this is one of the possibility, right? Mutually exclusive. One, A and C. Do they have intersection? No intersection also. So this is also one of the possibility, right? A and C no intersection. A and D. Okay, A and D have an intersection because 6. Okay, so they are not mutually exclusive. So I don't include that. So A is right, BC. Do they have intersection? Yes. So no, I don't want it. B and D, they also have intersection. So I don't include it. Because they want mutually exclusive means that mutually exclusive means no intersection. So I choose two sets that don't have intersection. But it's not over yet. Look here. They want you to find the mutually exclusive and not exhaustive. What is not exhaustive? Okay, first of all, what's exhaustive? Exhaustive means the union of these two sets becomes the central space. So what is not exhaustive? It means the union of it does not become the central space. So A and B, A and C, which of these two, that the union of it is not the central space. So A and B, you want to choose that the union is not the central space. So A and B, what's the union of it is what? The union of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the union of it is the central space. Therefore, I have to cut it out because it's not exhaustive. That's the answer. Okay? It means that the union of it cannot be a central space. So A and C, the union of it is not a central space because A union C is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 1. So that's the answer. Alright? Next question, number 11. Alright, number 11. Erase. Diagram 11 shows the curve y equals 3 sin x minus 4 sin power 3x 0x 180. And then, okay, they draw your graph like this. During exam, you all don't have to draw this kind of thing one. Huh? This I just draw because I want to explain. Okay, this is the soalan. Okay, you only focus on the booking only. Okay, during the exam. Alright, I'm done drawing. Let's look at the question. Diagram 11 shows the curve y equals 3 sin x minus 4 sin power 3x for 0 until 180. Okay, and then they say what? It is known that the curve can also be written as y equals to sin bx. And then with b as a constant, state the value of b. So, how to find? State the value of b. So let's go back to trigo. So you already learned this with me. The number here stands for what? The number of cycle. The number here stands for the amplitude. The amplitude. So for this question, the amplitude doesn't matter. And the amplitude is not what we should focus on. Because the amplitude is 1, is -1. That's why there's nothing here. What they want is to find the value of b, right? Yes, they want to find the value of b. It means that this will be what? The number of cycles. So how many cycles is it? First of all, you need to know one cycle, how one cycle looks like. This is how one cycle looks like. -1, 1. This is how one cycle looks like. So if like this means how many cycles? So 1. And then half. So half, half, half. So like this is 1. So half, half, half. So berapa? 3/2. Betul kan? Betul tak? Salah lah. Okay, salah. Why salah? Just now when I read the question, I already like draw a box here. Dia hanya berkes untuk sampai 180 saja. Remember when I teach you how to sketch the triangle graph, I say that doesn't matter what they write here, it's all for 360 degree. It's all for 360 degree. Alright? Maksudnya, here they only draw until how to say, until 180 only. So actually if you keep drawing, it will look like this. Okay, half, 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 so it will be half, half, half. So here is too high, here is 360. So it means that how many cycles? 1, 2, 3. So the b is 3, it's not 3/2. Okay? You have to take the 3/2 times 2 lah. Okay? Because the 3/2 is only for half only. Half, how to say? Half, only I think 180 only. I want to do 360. Okay? So that's how we do. Right? Okay, I'll erase it back. Okay? Because I don't want to change the question myself. Okay? Because I need to do b now. So b is what? Solve the equation 6 sin x. Let's copy this down. 6 sin x. 6 sin x equals to 8 sin power 3x plus 1 for 0 until 180. Okay, how to do this? So, remember when you do triangle, you always need to focus on, how to say, like for example, when you do a question triangle, you need to rely on the previous question to help you. Okay? Let me explain what I mean by that. For example, we are doing soalan B. You will need the jawapan from A to help you. When you do C, you will need the help from B and A. That's what I meant. It means that when you do this question, you will need some information from A to help you. Right? So 6 sin x equals to 8 sin power 3x plus 1. And then they want you to solve this. Isn't this, look, how to say, like, not the same but like similar to this thing. Agree? Look here. Y equals to 3 sin x minus 4 sin power 3x. So I can use this to help me. Can you see? If I can manage to change this to 3 sin x minus 4 sin 3x, I can replace it with y. So what I do, I can take 6 sin x, the plus 8 move over here becomes minus 8 sin power 3x equals to 1. And 6, here is sin x, here is sin power 3. It's the same. But the number in white is not the same. Here is 3, here is 4. So what I can do is I can take and divide by 2. And when you divide by 2, you have to divide everything by 2. So divide everything by 2. 3 sin x. Divide by 2, 4. The right hand side also have to divide by 2. Okay? Balance now. Okay? You cannot just divide one side. Right? Both sides also have to divide. And this whole thing, I can write it as y equals 1 or 2 like this. Alright? Y equals 1 or 2. But what they want? They want you to find x. They want you to find x. Bukannya ask you to find y. So how to do? I already said, okay, when you do B, you will need help from A. So look for help in A. So what else you know in A? This equation. Why? Can you see like all the important information? Even before doing B also I already, how to say, like, letak satu kotak. Because I know already, like, okay, in the future it will help me. So y equals sin dx, you know B is 3. So here is 3. So y equals sin 3x, it means y equals sin 3x. So y equals 1 over 2, y equals sin 3x means sin 3x equals to 1 over 2. And I can find the shift sin 1 over 2 and find out what is the reference angle. So what is the shift sin 1 over 2? So shift sin 1 divide 2. Shift sin 1 over 2 is 30, right? Shift sin 1 divide 1 over 2. Okay, 30. So 30 degree. But this is not the answer. You have to consider problem. Add sugar to coffee. Quadrant, first quadrant, second quadrant. So here is the first answer and another one is here. So the first answer will be 30 and then the second quadrant will be 180 minus 30. Okay? So you get 150. But kalau dia sini x 1 pusingan. Kalau sini 2x 2 pusingan. 3x 3 pusingan. 3 pusingan. So you have to find the answer for pusingan kedua and pusingan ketiga. So there will be 6 answers. So how to find? You just take this one, take this number plus 360. So what's 30 plus 3 is 360, 390. What's 150 plus 360? You can use your calculator. So 150 plus 360, 510, 510. So you have 510. Okay, and then repeat the process again. Plus 360, right? So 390 plus 360. So 750. And then this one 510 plus 360. 870. So that is all the answers for 3x. And now what you do? Take everything, divide 3. 10, divide 3, 50, divide 3, 130, divide 3, 270, divide 3. Okay, what's 750 divide 3? 750 divide 3. 250. Okay, I think this one I write it wrong already. 510 divide 3 is 170 here. 170. Okay, so 170 and then 250. And the last one will be 870 divide 3. 290. Okay, let me double check because I don't want to write the wrong answer. Okay, correct. Betul? So that will be the answer. But tengok sini 0 until 180. The answer, the only one from 0 until 180. So these two you potong. Okay? Tak payah padang. Tak payah padang. Show them that you already do it, but you just potong with a line. Okay? Or you can also write ignore lah. Or you can just write abaikan or ignore. Ignore. Okay? Or you can just potong like me. Alright? So these are the answers. 10, 50, 130, 170. So 4 answers only. The 2 answers we didn't include because they only want the answer in this range. So that's all. Right? Hope you understand? Alright. Next question. I will erase first. So erase. So for the next question, one chapter, circular measure. Right? Circular measure. Right? Tengok ni sudah tahu. Mesti circular measure. So Lucas sector. This is the sector. Okay, there's an isosceles. I can see the isosceles triangle already, and I can see that they give you the angle in radian, right? 0.52, and then that's all. Alright, so let's read the question. In diagram 12, OPS is an isosceles. Hey, if this is isosceles, what's the angle here? Same, 0.52. Alright, because it's isosceles. OQR is a sector of circle. OQR is a sector of circle with center O. Alright? And then OP ratio PQ is 2 ratio 3. OP ratio PQ is 2 ratio 3. The length of arc QR is 13 cm. Arc QR is 13 cm. I don't know about you, but whenever I see the word length of arc, my mind immediately goes to the formula S equals R theta. Alright, I hope it's the same for you okay? Because length of arc formula is this. In circular measure, the length of arc S equals R theta. And what is the S? 13. What is the R? 1 theta. Okay, I'll read it first. Because I don't know what they want to. I haven't even finished reading, right? So let's stop it here first. What else? Find the area of shaded region. Oh, now cari area of shaded region. Kalau you nak cari area of shaded region, you need the radius first right? So what I do is, they say the length of arc QR here is 13. And you already know 13 is S equals r theta. So S is 13, what's the r? You don't know, but you can just write r, right? Times with the theta. Okay, the theta you know, the theta is 0.52, right? 0.52. Okay, you can find the radius. So use your calculator. What is 13 divided by 0.52? 25. So the radius is 25 here. So the radius is here and here. Okay, keep in mind that this is also 0.52 radius, right? So why I find the radius? Okay, why I find the radius? Because they want to find the area of shaded region. And if you don't have the radius, how do you find the area of shaded region? Because formula for area is 1 over 2 r squared theta, so you need the radius. Okay, actually there's one information that I forgot to label. This one. OP is 2, so I forgot 2. PQ is 3, so it is 3. Maksudnya 2 sini 2 portion, sini 3 portion, total 5 portion. So what you do is you can take 25, divide by 5 to cari 1 portion and then times 2. So let's do it. 25 divided by 5 and then times 2. Because I want to know here. So what is it? 10. So here is 10 here. So here is 15, automatic already, right? So that when 10 does 15, you get 25 here, right? But you don't tell me here is 10, here is 15. Okay, that is wrong, huh? Because they didn't tell you the ratio from here, so you don't know here. But it's okay. I know here is 10 also, because this is isosceles. Alright? But here I don't know. But it's okay. It's okay. Okay? Just leave it. So area of shaded region, how to find? First you find the area of sector, which is OQR, and then minus with the area of isosceles triangle, which is POS. Alright? So how to find area of sector? So you learn this already. The formula is 1 over 2 r squared theta minus, what is the formula for triangle? You can use 1 over 2 AB sine C. What is A, what is B, what is C? The A and B can be anywhere. Let's say the A and B is here. So where is your C? Your C will be where these two lines touch. So it's here, here is your C. Let's say your A and B is here. So where is the C? Here. Okay. Dekat mana dia sentuh? Dekat situ lah dia punya angle. So A and B. So what if your A and B is here? Dekat sini lah. Here is your C. Okay. So you can just take any two lines and the angle you take has to be where these two lines meet. Okay, where they meet is where you take. Is where you take the angle. Okay, what is the radius? 25. What is the theta? 0.52. Ayo, masukkan. So 25 square times 0.52. Done. That is the area of sector. Minus 1 over 2. Okay, I already told you just now. What is A, what is B, and what is C? Look at the line you have. I know this is 10, I know this is 10, but I don't know here. So here is 10, here is 10. Okay, I write 10, 10. Can you tell me where is the C? If you are taking 10 and 10 as your A and B, then where is your C? It should be at P, correct? It should be at P. Because where these two lines meet is here. Okay? So you need the angle here. And do you have the angle here? You don't have. You don't have. But you can find. Because I know here is 0.52, 0.52. So if here is 0.52 and here is 0.52, I can find the angle of here. And how to find the angle of here? Because I know one triangle is 180 degrees. So I just take 180 minus this. But since this is in radian and in radian, you just take 3.142 minus 0.52 minus 0.52. Okay? Why I take 3.142 minus? Okay, because 180 degree in radian is 3.142. Alright? Okay? Okay, you can use a calculator. Okay, I will use shift exp lah. But if you want to use 3.142 also okay. So this is how you tekan shift exp. Okay? Shift exp. Okay, exp is like beside the equal, okay, to the left, right? So I can take a shift exp, or you can want to take a 3.1 also okay also, and minus 0.52 minus 0.52. So you get 2.1016. 2.1016. Okay, I will write 4 decimal place. Okay, but different teacher, different advice. So it's up to you. You want to write 2.10 also okay. Okay, but I will always prefer to write 4 just to be safe lah. Okay, just to be safe. Because later this one you have to convert into degree. So 2.1016 times 180 divided by 5. Okay, you have to convert into degree. Why? Kalau ada trigo depan kena masuk in degree. So you have to change it from radian back to degree. So how to change? Don't how to say, the calculator like this, don't reset. Just leave it like this and tekan answer darab 180 divide pi. The pi you can tekan 3.12, but I will tekan 3 exp. So 120.41238. So 4124. Same, I will also write 4 decimal place. Okay, to be safe. So here is 120.4124. I hope you understand why I changed the radian to degree. Alright? Because in this formula, A sin C, kalau depan ada trigo, belakang the sudut mesti dalam bentuk darjah. Okay, mesti dalam bentuk degree. So now you just use the calculator, tekan moving and get answer. So 1/2 times 25 squared times 0.52, right? 162.5 minus, okay, this one 1/2 times 10 times 10 times sine 120.4124, 43.1202, and then 162.5 minus answer 119.37979. So 979. You can write like this. So the answer is CM. CM squared. Okay. What if you didn't write 4 decimal place? You write 2 decimal place only. 120.41 here, and the answer will be slightly different. Okay, the answer will be slightly different. It will be like 119.38 sub, and then 3814 like this. And but it's okay, man. Okay, it's okay. Because in the end, when you round off, you get 119.38. Because all the answer, even though you get different answer, in the end, when you round off to 2 decimal place, you get 119.38. So it's okay, man. Okay, so it's okay. As long as your answer round off to 119.38, then it's correct. Okay, then it's correct. Because it's different, right? Like some people use pi, some people use 3.142, some use 2207. So of course, right? Like the answer will be slightly different, but it's okay, man. Okay, it's fine now. Okay. Okay, next question is question number 13. Number 13, they give you a diagram, right? So I need to draw this diagram also lah. Okay. So what chapter is this? Right? What chapter is this? Linear law, right? It's linear law. Okay. How I know it's linear law? So if you look at the diagram they give, it's a curve, right? It's a curve. It's a curve, and here is a point, here is a point, here is P, here is Q. So 364 P18, so 18, 364 X 0 Y. Diagram below shows part of graph of y against x for the equation y equals ab power x. So y equals ab power x. Alright? So this is y, this is x, and this is the equation. And then this is what? Sketch the straight line graph of log y against x. They want you to sketch a, They want you to sketch a straight line. How to sketch? And they even tell you what against what. So log y base 2 against x. They want you to sketch a straight line, but this is a curve. This is a curve. And they want you to change the straight line. First, you need to change the equation to linear form. Change this to y equals mx plus c. And then baru you boleh sketch. So how to change this to linear form? Equation mesti ikut paksi y. So paksi y is log y base 2. So here also you have to make sure that the equation, the y-axis has to be log y base 2. So what you do is tambah log. So when you tambah log, you have to tambah both sides. Okay, balance. Okay, you cannot just tambah one side. Okay, sebenarnya when you tambah the log, you can tambah any base you want. Base 3, base 4, base 10. Usually it's base 10, right? But I will not use base 10 in this question because I already know my y-axis is base 2. I already know before I change it to uniform. I already know that in the end my y-axis should be log y base 2. So I will tambah base 2. And then next it will be log y base 2 single log times separate log plus. Alright? Single log times separate log plus. Kalau single log divide, separate log minus. Alright? So single log times separate log plus. So it becomes log 2b, okay, plus log 2a plus log 2b power x, and the power boleh bawa depan. Alright? So it becomes like log 2y sama dengan So you have to susun dia sebagai jadi linear form. So how to susun? You have to write yang ada x kena tulis dulu. And you have to write it like this. Log 2b darab dengan x tambah dengan log 2a. X darab log b and log b darab x is the same. Okay, I just write it behind. Why? Because I want to show that it's in linear form. Y equals mx plus c. So now I know that my y-axis is not y, my x-axis is x. You can double check. Y-axis is not y, x. So maksudnya betul. Apa yang saya buat sini betul. Y is not y, x-axis is x. And what's my gradient? Log b base 2. What's my y-intercept? Log a base 2. Okay? But what the question wants you to write? They want you to sketch the straight line. Oh, they want you to sketch the straight line. So macam mana? Maksudnya, yang ini, the table look like this. 1, 8, 3, 64. But this is for the curve one. So you need to form a new table and using x and not y base 2. Do you understand? Because now your y-axis is no longer y. Your y-axis is not y anymore. Your y-axis is log y base 2. And your x-axis is still x. Okay, it's still x. But the value you cannot use this table. Right? You have to use a new table. So x is still 1 and 3, but the 8 and 64 will change. It will become log y base 2, this log a base 2. What's log a base 2? 3. Okay, what's log 64 base 2? 6. Right? Log a base 2 is same with log 2. 8 is 2 power 3. 3 power 1. Log 2 is 1. So the answer is 3. Log 2 64. The 64 I can change to 2 power 6. Right? So 6 power 1. So tinggal dengan 6 lah. Because log 2 is 1. So that's how you get 3 and 6. Alright, 1 3 agak-agak saja 1 3. Alright, done. 3 6 3 6. Alright, dah. Sekejap. So when you okay, there's a problem here. Okay, 1 3. Okay, this one should be. Let's draw this lower a bit. So 1 2. Okay, lebih kurang macam tu lah, right? Okay, this one. Right? Because they want you to sketch, right? So untuk soalan sketch you tak payah lukis cantik-cantik. You don't have to have the skill also. Okay? Tak payah, you don't have to measure like how many cm. Okay, you don't have to follow the skill. Because it's soalan jenis sketch. Kalau draw, like kalau soalan jenis sketch, you just roughly sketch. Okay, you just do a sketching, just a rough sketching. So untuk B, dah lah. For A siapa? Right, this is what they want for A. For B, state the value of log B base 2. Log B base 2, log B base 2 is this thing here. That is why I do this thing. Alright? Do you remember in linear law paper 2 when I revised with you in class? I said, soalan takkan suruh awak tukar jadi linear form. Always. They will not ask you to change to linear form 1. Okay? I also don't know why. Okay? But they will not ask you to change to linear form. But you always have to change to linear form. In the beginning. Okay? In the beginning. In the beginning. Okay? So you always have to change to linear form. You always have to change to linear form. What I want to say? You always have to change to linear form. Okay, before drawing the graph. Even though the soalan will never ask you to change to linear form. Okay? Because if you don't change to linear form, you cannot do the last part of the question. In paper 2, I'm talking paper 2. So in paper 1, sometimes also you will have to use that knowledge. So same thing here. Log B base 2 is the gradient. Right? So if you don't do this thing, can you do this? Of course not. Of course not. Because you wouldn't know that log B base 2 is gradient. Okay? But since I already changed it to linear form, I know it already. But the soalan didn't ask you to change, The soalan tak suruh. Right? You don't actually need this to do the sketching. But I still do it. Okay? Because linear law, you mesti kena buat punya. Right? So what is the gradient? You jangan go and update this and this minus. You have to update this one. Because the log B base 2 is the gradient of the straight line. Which is this line. So it will be 1, So here is 1, 3. Here is 3, 6. So it will be 6 minus 3 or 3 minus 1. 6 minus 3 over 3 minus 1. So it will be log B base 2, 3 over 2. Is that the final answer? Yes, that is the final answer. They did not ask you to find B, right? They just asked you to find log B. So just leave it like this, can already. Okay? tak payah like, oh, tendang, tak payah. They want you to find not B, right? If they want you to find B, then yes, you have to hilangkan the log, right? But you don't have to hilangkan the log because they want not B. That's all. Alright, hope you understand. Next question, okay? Number 40. Only halfway only, okay? There's 25 questions. Now this is 14. Alright. X14 is what? 4, 2, 1. This one is progression, right? Progression, okay? So they say this is a geometric progression. It means I can write down what's the A, what's the R. Okay, what's the A? 4. What's the R? T2 divided T1. So 2 over 4. So it's 1 over 2. Right? Okay, A. Find the sum of first n plus 2 terms. It means S n plus 2. Right? Find the sum of first n plus 2 terms of the geometric progression in terms of n. That's all. That's the question. So how to find? You need to know the formula for Sn. What is the formula for Sn? A1 minus r power n over 1 minus r, or a r power n minus 1 over r minus 1. Why is there two versions of the formula? If there is two versions of the formula, then which formula should I use? So when r is smaller than 1, you use this formula. When r is bigger than 1, you use this formula. Easy to remember, right? Because if r smaller than 1, you take 1 minus. If r is bigger than 1, you minus 1. Okay? Can you see r minus 1 and 1 minus r? Okay, so you see whether your r, so your r is 1 over 2. 1 over 2 is smaller than 1. So I won't use this. Right? Takkan you ambil this one minus 1. Betul? Mesti tak besar tolak kecil. So if your r is smaller than 1, mesti lah 1 minus. Betul? So 1 minus, so you use this formula. So 1 minus 1 over 2 here. Here will be the a, which is 4. Here will be 1 minus r power n is 1 minus 1 over 2 power n. Okay, I will use a big bracket like this. But a lot of you will just stop here. Okay, you will just stop here. Don't stop here. Okay? Because you can simplify. 1 minus 1 over 2 is 1 over 2. Here is 4. The 1 minus 1 over 2 power n, I know you cannot do anything already. So just leave it. But the 4 and 1 over 2, you can become 8 here. Right? Okay. You can matikan. Right? Like for example, if I give you 4 over 3. Right? If you don't like this number, you don't like the 3, you want to take this number times 2. Can. Okay? You can times 2. But if you take the 3 times 2, the 4 also you have to times 2, so it becomes 8 over 6. So this thing and this thing is the same. 8 over 6 is the same. Maksudnya, if you want to take bawah darab satu nombor, atas pun boleh darab benda yang sama. So it means that, boleh tak saya matikan the 2 here? Boleh lah, the times 2 matikan. Maksudnya, atas pun boleh times 2 lah. So it becomes 2 times 2, it becomes 8 here. And then it becomes 1 times 1 over 2 power n. Okay, the bawah sudah tak ada dah, because I already matikan already. So there's no fraction already. That is your answer. Is this your answer? Can I still do something? I think that's all right. So find the sum of first n terms. Yeah, I believe. Okay, maybe you want to darab masuk can also lah. Okay? Okay, darab masuk. So dia dapat 8 minus 8. Okay? If you darab masuk, dia becomes like this lah. Okay? Can masuk. Dah, siap. Find B. Okay. So I'll check the answer and see. Okay, just double check. Okay. 14. Yeah, betul. Okay, I did something wrong, huh? Okay, yeah. Ini formula untuk apa? This is formula for Sn, right? But what they want? Sn plus 2, right? Apalah, alamak, Choon Hau ni. Okay, Sn plus 2. So the n should be n plus 2 lah, right? Okay, so the rest correct already. 1 minus r. Okay, not correct already. So, okay, let's do it again. Okay, sorry, silap. So, the n is n plus 2. Okay, dia bukan nak Sn, dia nak Sn plus 2. Alright, this is the formula for Sn. Right? But the n I have to use n plus 2. Okay, that's why I tinggal the plus 2. Okay, so it becomes like 4. Here is still 1 over 2. Here will be 1 minus 1 over 2 n plus 2. Right? And then, do the same thing lah, matikan, times 2, potong. So here times 2, so it becomes 2 times 4 is 8. And then n plus 2, right? Betul? For the 1 over 2 power n plus 2, actually you can pecahkan. Dia akan jadi 1 over 2 power n times 1 over 2 power 2. Okay, kenapa saya pecahkan? Because later I know the 8 I can darab masuk, and the 8 darab, when I darab masuk I can, the 8 and the 1 over 2 power 2 I can, saya boleh buat. That's why I pecahkan. Alright, okay. Kalau base sama darab, power kita tambah, right? So what is 1 over 2n times 1 over 2 power 2? You get back this, right? Base sama power plus. Right? So if you can combine it, it means you can pecahkan also. So that's how you pecahkan. So what happens here? Okay, jangan darab masuk dulu. Sini cantikkan dulu. 1 over 2 power 2 is 1 over 4, and then bracket 1 over 2 power n. Okay, now sudah cantik, kita darab masuk. So 8 times 1 is 8, and then 8 divided 4 is 2 here, and then 1 over 2 power n. Alright, that's the answer. Yang 8 minus 2 boleh jadi 6. Sini ya, boleh jadi 6 1 over 2 power n. Boleh ke? Tak boleh. Okay, tak boleh. Why tak boleh? Sebab 2 and 1 over 2 dia hubungan dia darab. So you cannot do it. Just like if I give you 6 minus 2, 3 like this. You have to do this first because they are together times. So it will be like 6 minus 2 times 3 is 6, so the answer is 0. Awak tak boleh ambil 6 minus 2 and then dapat 4 and then 4 times 3. Cannot. You will get a different answer, and the different answer will be wrong lah. This is the correct one. Because darab dia mesti, how to say, kalau ada darab dia mesti, you have to prioritize the hubungan darab, right? Darab bahagi dulu, and then baru tambah tolak, right? Okay, that's all. For the next question is soalan B. They want you to find the minimum value of n if the difference means Beza, difference between the sum of first n plus 2 terms and the sum of first n terms is less than 3 over 32. What are they trying to tell you here? What is the question trying to say? The difference between Sn plus 2 and Sn is smaller than this. So difference minus right? Minus And what is Sn plus 2? Okay, don't have to do it anymore. Sn plus 2 here 8 minus 2 1 over 2 power n. Alright? Because Sn plus 2 is this Okay, is this And then minus with Sn smaller than 3 over 32. And what is Sn? Okay, remember just now I silap what? I go and find, at first I go and do Sn, and then I get a different answer. That one is the Sn Okay, that one is the Sn. But I already erased it, so you have to do it again. So Sn formula is what? A 1 minus r power n over 1 minus r, right? Okay, but this time the a will be 4, so 4, right? And then the r will be what? 1 over 2, so 1 over 2, 1 over 2. And this time the n is just n. Okay, because the n is n, right? This one is different, this one the n is n plus 2. Alright, so this one sign here, 8 minus 2, 1 over 2 power n. Okay, here, what is 1 minus 1 over 2? 1 over 2 also. So here is 4 bracket 1 minus 1 over 2 power n. And then smaller than 3 over 32. Same thing, the 2 here I can matikan times 2 times 2. Right? Potong-potong, so it becomes 8 later. So 8 minus 2, 1 over 2 power n. Same we need to sign it. Minus 4 times 2 is 8. And then bracket 1 minus 1 over 2 power n. Smaller than 3 over 32. Now what I do? Darab masuk. So it becomes 8 minus 2 bracket 1 over 2 power n. Minus with, okay, this one is negative 8. Negative very plus. And then the 8 you have to write in front, 1 over 2 power n. Smaller than 3 over 32. Okay, the 8 can I terus darab 1 over 2? Cannot. Because the 1 over 2 has power. So you cannot, how to say, you cannot kacau dia. Kalau dia nak darab, you have to tulis depan satu. You tak boleh just darab inside. Because it's protected by the power. Okay, dia ada power. Okay, so power. So you tak boleh kacau dia sebab dia ada power. Okay, so dia power lah. Okay, okay. Actually this bracket you don't have to write anymore. Alright, so now 8 minus 8 is 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. And then negative 2, 1 over 2 power n plus 8, 1 over is 6. Because now you can let, can you see this and this? satu ketul, dua ketul ni dia sama 1 over 2 power n. So you can let 1 over 2 power n equals to a. So it becomes negative 2a plus 8a smaller than 3 over 32, like this. So what is 8a minus 2a? 6a smaller than 3 over 32. Okay, let's continue here. So 6 smaller than 3 over 32, but don't forget what is your a. What is your a? 1 over 2 power n. Okay? Because you just temporarily, how to say, you just change to a temporary, like for temporary, I mean, you have to change it back, right? So I change it temporarily, so you can imagine, and then I have to change it back, the a I have to change it back to 1 over n. So now I just need 3 over 32 divided 6. 1 over, how much is it? 64. Okay, you can use your calculator to help you, right? So 1 over 64. And then, what's next? 1 over 2 power n. Yang ni dia boleh jadikan dia base 1 over 2 also, right? I think it's power 6, right? So n, base dia sudah sama. So n smaller than 6. Right? Betul ke? Salah? Okay, salah. Why salah? Okay, kalau dia inequality ya, kalau dia inequality, sebenarnya awak kena tambah log. Alright? If 1 over 2 power n equals to 1 over 64, then you can do this. 1 over 2n and then 1 over 2 power 6. And then n equals to 6, and then done already. That will be the answer. This is the correct way. But if it's an inequality, like this, you have to check whether you have to change the smaller to bigger than. Okay? Why you have to check? Okay, I'll show you how. It means that you cannot do it like this. You have to tambah log both sides. So tambah log, and the n you can letak depan, and then here also tambah log here. Okay, why I ask you to tambah log? Because if you tekan log 1 over 2, you get negative. So here you calculator, right? So log 1 over 2. Can you see it's negative? So it's negative 0.30 something. So it means the smaller than here will change to bigger than. Can you understand? And bigger than this number, how you do it? Log 1 over 64 divide log 1 over 2. So what you do? Log bracket 1 over 64 divide log bracket 1 over 2, close bracket, so it's 6. So n is bigger than 6. Whereas, just now, when I do the other one, which doing this, I get n smaller than 6. If I do it like this, it's wrong. Because it's different, like n smaller than 6 and n bigger than 6 is wrong. So if you look at the question, what they want you to find? Find the minimum value of n. So minimum value of n means that n has to be bigger than 6. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So all those numbers. But they want the minimum, so the n is 7. Okay? But if you didn't do it like this, if you didn't use the log, tambah log, and you didn't change the smaller n to bigger n, you will get n smaller than 6. And it's wrong already. Because you will write n equals 5. Wrong, yeah. And it's different. N is different. So keep in mind that if it's an inequality, you have to always check on the left hand side whether you got bahagi negative or not. Because when you divide a negative number, you have to change the sign from smaller to bigger or from bigger to smaller. Right? So that's all. Hope you understand. Next will be 15. Okay, 15. Given an arithmetic progression, okay, progression again, negative 21, negative 16, negative 11, blah, 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 blah. State the 4 consecutive terms which sum up to 190. So, the arithmetic progression means you can find out what's the A and D. Okay, what is the A? The A is what? Negative 21. The D is negative 6 minus negative 21. Okay? Okay, this is 16. Sorry, this is 16. So, you can take T2 minus T1. So, negative 16. So, it will be 5 here. And then you say what? State the 4 consecutive terms which sum up to 190. So, what do we mean by 4 consecutive terms? For example, T23, T24, T25, T26. Like this. This is what it means by 4 consecutive. It means it's continuous. Berturutan. Maksudnya dia 23, 24 juga macam tu. Or it can be 37, 38, 39, 40. Like this. Consecutive, right? It's continuous. So what they are asking is which 4 terms after you sum up you get 190. So a lot of students when they see the word sum, they go and use the S formula. Salah. Okay, you can use the S formula. What they are trying to say is Tn plus 1 plus Tn plus 2 plus Tn plus 3. Bukannya S. It's Tn, because we don't know what is it, right? But we know it can be Tn, here will be Tn plus 1, then Tn plus 1 plus 1, then Tn plus 2, then Tn plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, Tn plus 3. Okay, why I stop here? Because they say 4 terms. Because they say 4 terms only. 1, 2, 3, 4 terms equals to 1. How much? 190. Alright? Like this. Actually, this is a slow method. Okay? This is a slower method. Okay? There's a faster method to. Ada lagi satu cara yang boleh apa? Yang shortcut untuk buat soalan ni. Okay? Ada shortcut. Tapi I ajar this method dulu, and then I'll show you the shortcut. So how to do? Tn. The formula for Tn is a plus n minus 1d. So this is the formula. So you use this formula. So a, what's the a? Negative 31 plus n minus 1, d is 5. Okay. Counting. Plus. Ini same. Negative 21. Alright. Plus n minus 1. But your n is n plus 1. So n plus 1 minus 1 is just n. The d is 5. Right? Plus Tn plus 2. Same thing. A plus n minus 1d. A is negative 21. Plus n minus 1. The n is n plus 2. What is n plus 2 minus 1? So it's n plus 1. And then the d will be 5. Done. The last thing is Tn plus 3. So same thing. A plus n minus 1d. A is still negative 21. Okay, what's n minus 1? Look carefully. Your n is n plus 3. So what's n plus 3 minus 1? N plus 2. And then what's your d? 5. And this whole thing equals to 190. Negative 21 dalam masuk 5n minus 5. And then plus minus is just minus lah. And then dalam masuk 5n. And plus minus is just minus 21 dalam masuk 5n plus 5. And plus negative, okay, it's not plus lah, because plus minus. Okay, if the sign here is plus it means it will not affect the sign inside the bracket. So if it doesn't affect the sign inside the bracket, you can just open the bracket and just follow minus and then 21 and then plus and then 5n plus 10. Okay, like this, and then equals to 190. Alright, so the answer will be 5n plus 5n plus 5n plus 5n, 20n. And then on the right hand side will be what? Negative 21 minus 5 is negative 26. Okay, you can use your calculator, right? So how you tekan? 190 minus 10, because plus, because minus 10. And plus 21. Minus 21 jadi plus 21. Plus 5 jadi minus 5. Okay, press plus 5. And then minus 21 jadi plus 21. Okay, plus 21. This one plus 21 again. This one plus 5. Okay, and then plus 1 plus 21. Okay, plus 5 plus 21. 264. Okay, 264. So when you take all this number, you move there and you tekan, you get 264. So it means what is n? 264 divided by 20. So it's 13.2. Okay, sebenarnya soalan ni ada masalah sikit. Right? Ada masalah sikit. Okay, it's not because I say this because maybe you are just tak tahu macam mana nak buat Choon Hau, that's why you say soalan ada masalah. But no, actually this soalan memang ada masalah tu. Because if you look here, n cannot be fraction. Because the n is either you get first place or second place or third place. There is no like, I'm 1.32, like other. Right? It's either first, second or third. There shouldn't be like a point here. Okay? So sebenarnya ada kelemahan dari segi soalan. Right? And the n shouldn't be like this. Okay? The n shouldn't be like this. Okay? But since it's like this, you just do it lah. Alright? Okay, so you know already the n should be 13.2. But it cannot be decimal one. Okay, it cannot be the decimal one. So here will be 14.2, 15.2, and the 16.2. Okay, but if I keep doing it, you will understand. So A is negative 21 plus n minus 1d. So n minus 1 is 13.2 minus 1, 12.2. Just write 12.2. So 12.2. And then the d is 5. So buat dalam dulu So 5 times 12.2 equals, and then negative 21 plus and then minus 21. So 40. Okay, kita cari ke 14.2, 15.2, 16.2, tak perlu dah, because if you know the first is 40, just plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 45, 50 and 55. And if you take all these small numbers, add together, you will really get 190. Okay, of course you can try. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, you get 190. Right? So, they want you to state the 4 consecutive terms that sum up to 190. This is the answer. Okay, this is the answer. But do you remember just now I said there's a shortcut? Okay, there's a shortcut. So what is the shortcut? So the shortcut is like this. They say 4 consecutive terms that sum up to 190. But you already know the d is 5. It means that let's jadikan nombor yang sini is x. So here will be x plus 5. Here will be x plus 5 plus 5, which is x plus 10. Here will be x plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and x plus 15. It means that x plus 5 plus x plus 10 plus x plus 15 equals to 190. And then x plus x plus x plus x is 4x. And then 190, okay, what's 190 minus 15? 190 minus 15 minus 15 minus 10 minus 5. 160. And then x is 40. So you know this term is 40. So it's here 40, 45, 50, here 55. So this is the shortcut. So you can see the answer is the same. Right? Same right? 40. Yeah. Same only. Right? So you can also do it like this. Okay? But again, usually n it is not other decimal one. Okay? Usually n they tak boleh ada decimal. So yeah, there's something wrong with this question. Okay? Ada kelemahan dari sini soalnya. But if you want to find out, if you want to do it, this is how you do it. Right? This is how you should do it. Alright, 16. Erase. Okay, 16. What chapter is this? Indices and logarithm. Okay, chapter log. Okay, so let's erase it. So 8 power log x base 2 equals to 3. Solve the equation. Macam mana? How to find x? Okay, there is 2 ways to explain this. Okay, 2 ways to explain it. So you have method number 1, method number 2. Okay, and I will explain both methods. So what you can do here? Do you remember last year when you learned this? Not last year, but last year. Okay, because your SPM got delayed already. So it's like last year and last year. So last year. Remember you learned if I said kalau power near ada log and the log base and the number base is the same, awak boleh potong. Maksudnya, if I want to find 2 power log 3 base 2, just make sure this and this is the same. Because if this and this is the same, you can potong. So, when you potong, tinggal apa? 3. So that's the answer. Okay, I give you one more example. 3 power log 3, 7. So what's the answer? 7. Because the 3 and the 3 here, you can potong. So can you tell me? Can I take 8 and 2 potong? Cannot. They are not the same. But I can make it the same. Because 8 is 2 power 3. And 2 power 3 log x base 2 equals to 3. Right? I put the bracket like this. And you know this one later it will become times. Right? So it becomes 2 power log 2x power 3 equals to 3. Now I can potong. So when you potong, tinggal dengan x power 3 je lah. Equals to 3. So x equals to cube root of 3. Okay? That's the answer. Okay? So this is the one way of explaining it. The other way of explaining it is, alright, why? So why? Why kalau sini sama boleh potong? Kenapa? Kenapa kalau saya bagi 6 log sini 6 contoh 9? Kenapa jawapan dia mesti 9? Kenapa 6 and 6 ni boleh potong? Why? Kenapa dia boleh potong satu? Because you learn this. If I give you a equals to b to the power of c, okay, tak nak. 8 equals to 2 power 3. This is index form. How to change it to logarithmic form? Logarithmic form. You turn down, betul? The number base becomes the log base, and the rest like this. The 8 stay here, the 3 stay here. It's just that the number base becomes the log base. Macam tu, right? Number base becomes log base. Betul? So boleh tak saya buat benda yang sama? Tolong. This is number base. Tendang jadi apa? Tendang jadi log base. Right? The 6 is the number base, become log base already. And this is stay in the same position. Log 9, 6. Log 9. Can you see? It's the same. Sebab tu sini dengan sini kalau sama boleh potong. Okay? That's the reason. Same for here. Now the number base when you tendang dia apa? Jadi log base lah. The number base log base. And then the 7 stay here. The log 7, 3 stay here also. Can you see? It's the same both sides. It means that you can you memang boleh potong macam tu. Okay? Same for here lah. Okay? Same for here also. I mean that okay, betul lah. It means that kalau sini sama, sini akan sama juga. If the number here, the number here same here, the number here also has to be same. So if the 2 and the 2 here is the same, the x power 3 should equal to 3 like this. Alright. So for the second method here, how you will do it is you will tendang. Jadi apa? The number base which is 8, it becomes log base, and then here remains log x base 2, 3. It means that it's not a power anymore. Like this power, it will become a normal number. And then now what you do? Here is base 2, here is base 8. Change it to the same base. How to change it to the same base? Change to base 2. So the log 3 buat satu log, 8 buat satu log. And what you want to change to base 2, right? 2. And what is log 8 base 2? 3. Because 8 is 2 power 3, and the 3 letak depan. 3 times 1 is 3. And the 3 akan darab, bagi 3 jadi darab. So 3 log x base 2 equals to log 3 base 2. And now it becomes log base 2. Yang ni boleh letak jadi kuasa, jadi power. So x power 3 jadi log 2, 3. So now log equals to log. The base is same. So the number here should be the same also. So x power 3 equals to 3. X equals to cube root of 3. Alright? So this is the okay, so that's all. Alright? That's all. Next question is number 17. Number 17 is also log. Right? Log 256 base x squared minus log x base 2 equals to 3. Right? So how to do this question? Hey, I want to ask you, this one, 2 equals to log x base 2 equals log 3 base 8. Can I just take x equals to 3? Cannot. Cannot, right? Cannot. Why cannot? Because the base is not the same. But why here can? But why sini I boleh just take the number? I just keluarkan the number. Why sini boleh, why sini tak boleh? Because here the base is not the same. So here kenapa boleh? Because the base is already the same. I already make it the same. I already changed to the same base. Can you see base 2, base 2? That's why I can take it out. This one base 2, base 8, mana boleh? That's why I change to base 2 first, and then baru I equal. So same here, x squared, this base is x squared, this is base 2. The base is different, like how you cannot continue, you cannot do anything. Because if the base is same, dua benda ni dia tak boleh buat pun. Macam mana you pindah pun dia tak boleh buat. So the only way is to change to the same base. And how you change to the same base? You can change to base 2. You can change to base 2. Okay? Actually you can change to any base you want. But why I choose base 2? Because I see a number 256, and I know 256. Log 256 base 2 is 8, I think. Yeah, 8. That's why I choose to change to base 2. Okay, don't worry. Okay, later you will understand why I change to base 2. Or maybe some of you will say, hey, why not change to base 10? Can also. Okay, can also. It's just that it will become harder. If you change to base 10, it will become harder. So actually, it's better to change to base 2 in this one. Why? Because I can potong here. I can potong now you see why I change to base 2? Because log 2y times base 2 is 8 and log 2 base 2 is 1. So tinggal dengan apa? Tinggal dengan A over 2. Okay, how to do this? 8. Okay, so macam mana saya kena buat? 8 over 2. Okay, the power boleh letak depan, right? So 2 log 2x minus, okay, yang bawah sudah potong, so tinggal dengan ini saja lah, equals to 3. Can you see that this log x base 2 and this log x base 2 is the same? So kalau dia sama, we can just let log x base 2 equals to a. Just only for temporary, okay? Just temporarily change it to a. Later you have to change it back, okay? So temporarily change it to a. Okay, and the 2 and a also you have to do 4, right? So it becomes what? 4 over a minus a equals to 3. Okay, just for temporary only. Later you have to change back. So how to solve this? Hilangkan fraction dulu. Darab a sama darab a. 4 minus a square equals to 3a. So this is a quadratic. Try to factorize. And before you factorize, change it to general form. So my a square is negative. I don't like it. I make it positive. So move over there. And then plus 3a. And then minus 4. Factorize a. 4 times 1 plus minus a equals to 1, a equals to negative 4. But remember I said you are only changing it temporarily to a. You have to change it back to log x base 2 because it's not actually a, it's log x base 2. So you have to, because the a is actually log x base 2, so you have to change it back. So log x base 2 equals to 1 and log x base 2 equals to negative 4. So what is x? Tendang 2 power 1, 2. What is x here? Tendang 2 power negative 4. 1 over 16. Boleh? That's the answer. Right? Did I do it correctly? I do it so fast. So I'm scared I made some mistake here. So I have answer here. Let me check. Betul lah. Right? Okay. Hope you understand. Okay. Before that, for this one, factorize. You can use your calculator one. Okay? Use calculator. The mode 3 kali, right? You get this one. And 1 you divide minus 1 minus 4 plus 4. Alright? Okay. Next. You can always use your calculator to help you, right? You buy the calculator for what? Right? To use it, right? So you can use your calculator. Okay? Next question is number 18. The graph of quadratic function fx equals to mx squared minus 4x plus n. So this is a quadratic function. Has a maximum point. Macam mana maximum point? Smiley face or sad face? Sad face, right? Because they say maximum point. Yang ni mana ada maximum point? This one is minimum point. So the graph looks like this. It means that your a has to be negative. Okay? Kalau dia sad face ataupun n shape, this looks like m, so I call it n shape. So the a has to be bigger than 0. It means m has to be smaller than 0. Because the a of this equation is n. Okay, a given n is an integer. State the maximum value of n. Okay, maximum value of n. It means n paling besar boleh apa? Okay, you know n has to be negative. So it can be negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 3, negative anything, any number. But they want the maximum value. Negative 1. Okay? Because they say n has to be an integer. Maksudnya tak boleh ada point something. And tak boleh ada fraction, tak boleh ada decimal. Maksudnya the maximum value of n is negative 1. The maximum, like the biggest value. Right? The biggest negative integer is negative 1. Okay, B. It cannot be positive, right? Because you know it's n shape already. B. Using the answer from A. Kalau you use the answer from A, I can masuk already lah. So it becomes negative x squared minus 4x plus n already, right? Because we didn't use this answer, right? We use the answer from A, so I can masuk lah. And then what else? Find the value of n when the graph touches x-axis at only one point. Find the value of n touches x-axis at only one point. Only one point. Touches x-axis at only one point. B squared minus 4ac. What? equal 0. Betul? Kalau macam ni, we call it two equal, we call it, betul lah, we call it two equal roots. Okay, two equal roots. So b square minus 4ac equals 0. Okay, kalau macam ni, two different roots. Kalau macam ni is b square minus 4ac bigger than 0. Kalau tak sentuh, b square minus 4ac smaller than 0. So this one we call it no roots. So for this case, they say touches at one point. So it means one root lah, ataupun two equal roots. Okay, so b is negative 4 square, and the a is negative 1, the c is n equals to 0. Negative 4 square is 16 minus plus 4 and equals to 0. N equals to negative 4. Right? So that's the answer. Okay, jap. Dia nak cari apa? N. Sudah siap? That's all. Number 19. Number 19 is also from chapter 3, quadratic function. If the graph of function f(x) equals to ax squared plus bx plus c has an equation of axis of symmetry, axis of symmetry is x equals to 1. Passes through point 0, 1, okay, passes through 0, 1 and negative 1, negative 5. Okay? And then find value of a, b, c. Did you see how I transfer the information to my kertas jawapan, like to my to the test pad lah, to my test pad. Whenever they give, I always try to write down like this, like simplify it and write it like this. So all the information I need is here already. It means I don't have to look at the book anymore, right? So these are all the information that you have, and then they want you to find value of a, b, and c, right? So that's all. So how to find a, b, and c? They say this equation, the axis of symmetry is this. So what? First, I find my version of axis of symmetry. I try to find my version of axis of symmetry and then compare it with x equals 1. How to find my version of axis of symmetry? This version is the one, the jawapan yang bagi punya. So, soalan yang bagi punya. Saya kena cari saya sendiri punya axis of symmetry dulu and then equatekan dengan x equals 1. How to find my own axis of symmetry? So if you want to find axis of symmetry, you do completing the square. Because remember, axis of symmetry means the axis of symmetry will always pass through the x coordinate of the turning point. Okay, let me repeat again. The axis of symmetry will pass through the x coordinate of the turning point. The turning point can be maximum, can be minimum. Okay, the x coordinate. And how to find the x coordinate of minimum point? You do complete the square. When you do complete the square, it will look like this: x plus p squared plus q. And the turning point will be plus p, kalau kan jadi negative pq. Ini dah x coordinate of the turning point. So this will be the axis of symmetry lah. Okay, the axis of symmetry passes through the x coordinate of the turning point. So what I do here is I do completing the square. Before doing completing the square, always make sure a has to be 1. That is basic. Okay. So I hope you all have the basic. A has to be 1. Baru boleh buat completing the square. So what you do is divide a, and then baru you boleh buat completing the square. Okay, actually the a, actually the a you have to write in front like this right? Like this. Then the a cannot hilang tiba-tiba. Okay, means you keluarkan the a, right? Betul? Right? Yeah. And then a bracket, because I confuse it with equation. Sebab kalau dia equation 0 when you divide a, the a tak payah tulis lagi. Kalau dia equals 0 lah. Kalau dia equals 0, if you divide everything by a, let's say, then the a tak payah tulis lagi. But this one is equals to fx. So the a actually is still there. You have to write a. Alright, completing the square is x squared plus b over ax plus bracket square plus c over a minus bracket square. Remember? This is how you do completing the square. And what we write inside the bracket? b over a. b over 2. Okay, b over 2. Okay, b over 2. So b over 2, what's the b? b over a. So it's b over a over 2. So you can write times 1 over 2. Times 1 over 2 is over 2 lah, as I say. Okay, same here. You write b over 2. So the b, when I say b means the coefficient of x, right? Perkali untuk x, so it's b over a times 1 over 2. So it will be a like this, and then bracket, square. This one, you just ignore. So tinggal apa? X. The square tak ada because we already put in front here. This one just ignore me, okay? So b over a times 1 over 2, atas darat atas, bawah darat bawah. So b over 2a. This. And then yang belakang, c over a minus, what is b over a times 1 over 2? It's b over 2a. It's b over 2a. But you have to square it. So it becomes b square over 4a square. Like this. But I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't care about what's here. I only care about what's here. I only care about this thing only. Alright? So the a actually have to darab also. It will become a and then x plus b over 2a square plus a darab sini dari c and then a darab sini dari b square over 4a. But we don't care about what's here. We only care about what's here because this is our axis of symmetry. So remember when you take out, you have to tukar under, so it becomes negative b over 2a. And the negative b over 2a is equals to 1. Boleh faham kan? It means that I sudah berjaya cari saya sendiri punya axis of symmetry. My own axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. But the one they give is 1. So equatekan dia lah. Negative b over 2a equals to 1. And that will be the first equation. Okay? I named it the first equation because there's two unknown. It means that I cannot do anything. Because ada dua equation, macam mana you nak buat? Because kalau ada dua equation, it means macam mana you pindah pun you sangkut, you cannot, right? Like you cannot do anything. So you just, so it means you need another equation to help you. So don't forget they will say that this graph passes through 0, 1 and negative 1, negative 5. Hey, if they passes through, doesn't it mean that, isn't it what they are trying to say? They are trying to say that you can substitute that inside here. Fx equals to ax squared plus bx plus c when x equals to 0, fx equals to 1. Right? Because they say they got passes through. So this is x, this is y. Okay, y to fx lah. Okay, y is fx. Okay, they mean the same thing. Okay, so when x equals 0, fx is 0. So 1 equals to a bracket square plus b bracket plus c. So it's 0, 0. So 1 equals to 0 square 0 0 that is 0 0 plus 0 0 0 plus c, so c equals to 1. Alright, so now I know my c is 1. And then for the other one, fx equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. But you can put the other point, negative 1, negative 5. Okay, remember, kalau dia ada passes through, maksudnya you can substitute those points inside the equation. Kalau ada passes through, kalau ada passes through. Kalau tak ada passes through, tak boleh. Okay, if they got say got passes through, then you can masukkan. So it becomes negative 5 equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, and the x will be negative 1, negative 1. So it will be like negative 1 squared is 1, so it's just a here lah, and then negative b plus c. Jap, c sudah tahu kan? 1, so tulis lah 1. So tinggal apa? A minus b, negative 5 minus 1, negative 6. Finally lah, I have my equation 2 already. Right? This is what I've been waiting, right? Because when I do here, I only have my one equation. It means I need another equation with b and a to help me. So this is it. This is the equation that I need. So what you do here, you can do simultaneous. And when you do simultaneous, you can choose. You can either use substitution or you can use elimination, right? So if you look here, you can use substitution. Actually, elimination also can, alright? Okay, why I choose substitution? Because I can see here, I can find b, it will be 1 times 2a, so it's 2a, and then the negative move it over, and then equation 3. And then I can write sub 3 into 2. Sub 3 into 2. Okay? It's like the balik already. Like the soalan is like here, and then like right to left already. Okay? Like from you're starting from left, right to left. Okay? Okay, so jadi apa? Negative 6 equals to a minus b, and the b I substitute with, because you substitute 3 into 2, so here you must have negative 2a here. So here you have 3a negative 6, so a is negative 2 lah. Betul lah? Betul lah? So, what's the answer? A is negative 2, b is, what's the b? Oh, b belum cari. B belum cari. Okay, cari b dulu lah. Okay, you already get negative 2 is a, so how to find b? Okay, you can masukkan either one of this equation lah. So let's masukkan, actually this one can also. Okay, let's masuk this one. Okay, but you masuk this, you get the same answer also. So b equals negative 2a, so negative 2 here is 4. Alright, you have your a, you have your b, you have your c, okay, you can write your final answer. A is negative 2, b is 4, c is 1. Alright, that's all. That's the routine, right? Okay, so from right to left, okay? Okay, you read it. So let's go to the next question. Okay, next question is number 20. Number 20. Given that the roots of quadratic equation blah blah blah, where p is constant in the ratio 1:2, find value of p. Ini chapter 2 lah, betul? Quadratic equation. So quadratic equation, they say what? 2x squared minus 21x plus b equals to 0. They say the roots means x. Okay? Roots means x. Is in the ratio of 1 to 2. So that x equals alpha, the other one will be 2 alpha. That's what it means. It means that the roots are in the ratio 1:2. So you can let x equals alpha, the other one is 2 alpha. Okay? Or any other unknown. This can be like y or anything. Okay? A, B, C, any unknown. Okay? I use alpha. Okay? So find value of p. How to find? You use SOR method. Remember sum of root, product of root. So before using SOR method, you need to make sure the A mesti positive 1. Baru boleh guna SOR. That is why can you see I leave a space here? Why? Kenapa saya kosongkan baris ni? To divide everything by 2. Because if the A is not positive 1, you cannot use SOR method. Before you use SOR method, you have to make sure it has to be 1. So divide by 2. Right? Okay, now you can use the SOR method. What is SOR method? After your A is 1, your sum of root will be your negative b, the product of root will be your c. Okay, but you have to make sure it is 1 first. Okay, it is 1 first. Okay, what's sum of root? 2 roots sum. So alpha plus 2 alpha equals to negative b. And what's the b? Negative 21/2. What if you write negative 21? So it's wrong. Okay, if you write negative, it's wrong. Because your b has to be, you have to make sure sini tak ada number dulu. Right? So it's negative 21/2. So it's 3 alpha equals to 21/2. So what's alpha? 7/2. Did I do it correctly? Yes. So product of root is c. Product of root is direct. So 2 alpha times alpha is 2 alpha squared. C is p/2 lah. Right? p/2. Not p, p/2. You have to make sure sini tak ada number. Okay, so it's p/2. So what is alpha squared? Oh, sekejap. It means I need the help from here lah. Betul? Because I want to find p, right? Yeah, you want to find value of p, so you need the help from here lah. So 2 alpha squared equals to p/2. Sebab ada dua unknown ni. So alpha you masukkan 7/2. 7/2 squared 49/4 equals to p/2. You cannot take 2 times 7/2 first You have to do the power 1 first. Because they are the power, okay? So 2 and 4 bottom is 2 here. So it becomes 49/2 equals p/2. So the p is 49 right? Because you get 49/2 equals p/2. The bawah sudah sama, so you can just compare 2 compared to 2, so p is 49. Right? So that is how you do it. Number 21. Hey, I did this question with you, right? In normal class. Okay? I did this question with you. Saya pernah buat, I masih ingat sangat jelas. Like I see the diagram, I teringat masa kita belajar this question. Okay? So you should already know, right, how to do this question. Tahu ke tak tahu? Boleh buat? Boleh lah, right? You already do this question. Okay, but I'll do it again with you. So dia kata a wheel with radius r cm. So this is a wheel and the radius is tak lagi is being placed at the corner of a room. So it means that here it will touch the wall and touch the floor because it's at the corner. Given that the distance from P from the wall is 2 cm, P from the wall is 2 cm. Okay, so let me draw the P so that it's like here. So the P here is 2 cm, 2 cm. 2 cm. And then point P from the floor is 1 cm. From the floor is 1 cm like this. This is 1 cm. This is 2 cm. Right? Okay, and then find the value of the wheel radius. Find the value of the wheel radius. So what is the wheel radius? Okay, you know this is a circle. So circle mesti lah ada center here. Right? So center here. Sini. So mana radius? Dari center tarik lah, tarik sini. This is the radius. And what they want is to find the radius. How to find? How to find it? So radius, you tak semestinya tarik sini. Sini tarik sini, radius also. Sini tarik sini, radius also. Tarik sini, radius also. Tarik sini, radius also. Tarik sini, radius also. So kalau saya akan tarik ke P. Okay, saya akan tarik ke P. Why? Because that is the only place with info. If you tarik to any of this part, okay, ada info. Okay, but if you tarik here to P, ada info. Because they say P is 2 cm away from the wall and 1 cm away from the wall. So I will choose to tarik to here. And then after I tarik to here, then how? So I know already this length is the radius, but how? How to find? This is 1 cm, but the 1 cm is down here, 2 cm is down here. So how? So what you do is you have to use right angle triangle. Tarik ke sini, and then tarik ke sini. Alright? And you can form a right angle triangle. I will draw it out in case you can't see it. Okay? So the center I will call it O. Here will be point P. Okay, point P is here. Here will be point O. This is the radius. Alright? And this will be a right angle triangle. And what will be the length here? What will be the length here? Here. Here's 90 here. So what will be the length here? The whole thing is R minus 1, because here is 1, so here will be R minus 1. Very good. And what will be the length here? The whole thing here is R, but I have to minus 2, so here is R minus 2. Boleh tak? Radius. Tapi saya nak sini sampai sini saja, so R minus 2, so here minus 2. So how to find R? Pythagoras theorem, R square equals to R minus 1 square plus R minus 2 square. So R square equals to R square minus 2R plus 1 plus R square minus 4R plus 4. R square minus R square also 0 equals to R square minus 2 minus 4 minus 6 plus 1 plus 4 plus 5. Factorize 0 equals to bracket. So what is it? R square minus 6R plus 5. R 5, 1 minus. R equals to 1, R minus 5. R equals to 5. Write if not here. Why you write if not here? So the answer is 5. Why you write if not here? Hello. If R equals to 1, try to masuk 1 here. What's 1 minus 1? 0 tau. Mana ada length 0? And yang ni, kalau you masuk sini, 1 minus 2, negative tau. Mana ada length, mana ada negative. Okay? So length ada negative. So, that's why I write if not. So the answer will be 5. So 5, and then here 5 minus 1, 4, and then 5 minus 2, 3. That makes sense. 3 cm, 4 cm, 5 cm. Okay? But if you put 1, later it becomes negative here. So that's why you cannot, length cannot be negative. Distance tak ada negative. Okay? So that's all you do. Next question, number 22. Number 22. Determine whether the inverse function exists for each of the following functions. Okay, I will draw it out. Okay, but you don't have to draw it out. Okay, I draw it because I want to explain it. So draw it. Yeah. Then the next one. Oh, the next one is like a cubic curve, I guess, right? Intersect here. Okay, x. Okay, done. Okay, determine whether the inverse function exists for each of the following questions. Okay, actually, one of you asked me a question like this before. Okay, I forgot sample lah. Okay, but I still remember. Okay, one of you sent a question and asked me in WhatsApp, and I replied. Okay, I already explained to the student how to do it. Okay, but I forgot who already done. Okay, but apa dia buat sama-sama. Macam mana buat? Determine whether the inverse function exists or not. Apa maksud dia? Inverse function. So if you want to know whether the inverse exists or not, you do this thing called the horizontal what is horizontal line test? You draw horizontal lines. If the horizontal line intersect at one point, it means inverse function exists. Okay? If you draw a horizontal line, but there is 2 points, then the inverse does not exist. DNE must be does not exist. So you do the horizontal line test. Horizontal line, horizontal line, horizontal line. Alright? So how many intersection points? 1 point. So exists. So how should I determine whether inverse exists? So you say inverse exists. Inverse exists. For question 1. Right? Question 1. For question 2, inverse. Alright, ada exist ke? So ada 2 point. If more than 1 point, that means does not exist. Can you see it? Inverse does not exist. Does not exist. So number 3. What about this? How many intersection points? 1, 2, 3. So more than 1 already. So inverse does not exist. But let me explain why. Okay, let me explain why. Why is it like that? Why are you drawing all these lines? What is this line trying to tell us? Okay, listen here. The horizontal lines can help you to determine whether it is a one-to-one relation. One-to-one relation. Okay, I repeat again. The horizontal line test is for you to how to say? The horizontal line test can help you determine whether it is a one-to-one relation. Okay? Whether it's a one-to-one function. So, is this a one-to-one function? Yes. No. No. So, remember, inverse function only one-to-one. Only one-to-one function has inverse. Okay? Only one-to-one function has inverse. Right? That's all. Okay. The soalan didn't ask you this, but I want to tambah. It's called the vertical line test. Okay, it's called the vertical line test. Because since I'm talking about the horizontal line test, why not I talk about the vertical line test also? Even though the question tak tanya lah, right? So some extra knowledge Okay, so this is something extra. Okay, so what is the vertical line test? The vertical line test can help you determine whether it's a function or not. Okay, you have to know what is function. Function is okay, the function it can be 1 to 1 ataupun many to 1. Okay, if you don't know this, then now you know. Okay, maybe you haven't even heard of this before. Okay, but now you know. Alright, so using the vertical line test, it can tell you whether it's a function or not. For example, I draw a line like this, like this. Okay. So vertical line test. Draw a vertical line. If the vertical line intersect 1 point, then it means this is a function. Okay? This is a function. But this one, is this a function? It's not a function. Because it is intersect 2 points. So the vertical line test will tell you whether it's a function or not. The horizontal lines will tell you whether it's a one-to-one relation or not. And at the same time, it will also tell you whether this function has inverse or not. Because only one-to-one function has inverse. So if you test, you see one intersection point, it means it's a one-to-one. It means it has inverse. But if you test, got 2 points, it means it's not a one-to-one. Not a one-to-one means no inverse. Right? So that's how you do it. For the vertical line test, let's say I tukar soalan. I say determine which of this is a function, right? Which is a function. So you do a vertical line test, okay, and you choose the one with one point. If you intersect 1 point, it means that is the function, okay? Because function, it has to be 1 to 1 or many to 1. Okay, what about many to many? Okay, many to many is not a function. What about 1 to many? 1 to many is also 1 to many relation is not a function. Only 1 to 1 and many to 1 are considered function. And how you know whether it's a function or not? By using the vertical line test, right? But these things usually jarang keluar. Okay, usually you will see this in like state paper lah. State paper penjualan explain you will see this, right? Okay, I'll erase this. Let's move on to question B. So for question B here, what they want? Function f is defined by fx is px. Okay, fx equals to px. And then they say, sketch graph of f and f inverse on the same plane. So they want you to sketch on this plane, and they want you to sketch the fx and f inverse x. Okay, first of all, they say p cannot equals to 1. P cannot equals to 1. So what does that mean by that? Okay, let's assume p is 1. Let's assume p is 1. So it becomes fx equals to 1x, it means fx equals to x. The fx just treat it as y. It's the same one. Okay? Like fx is like y, right? Like they are the same one. So y equals to x. So how you draw y equals to x? Like this. Correct? Like this, y equals to x. So it's 0, here is x, here is y. And do you okay, here actually you write fx. Okay? You can write y also. So fx equals to x actually is y equals to x. Can you see that the m and the c, it means that it's actually 1x plus 1. It means the m is 1, the c is 1. Sorry, the c is 0 actually. Because there's nothing here. Right? So that's why the y-intercept is 0 and the gradient is 1. Right? So this is how you draw y equals x. Y equals x. But they say cannot be 1. Cannot be 1. So it cannot be this line. It cannot be this line. So let's try using 3. So if I change this to 3, it means what is the gradient? 3. But the y-intercept is still 0. So when the kecerunan meningkat, it will be more cerun. It will be more slanted. So it will be like here. Contoh. So fx. You don't have to measure with protractor, no need one. Just draw. Just let me measure. And what about f inverse? Let's say if fx is 3x, you draw it like this. What about f inverse? Because they want you to sketch f and f inverse. So for if fx is 3x, what is f inverse? X over 3, right? X over 3. So, or you can also write 1 over 3x, 1 over 3x. And if f inverse is 1 over 3x, the gradient will be 1 over 3, and the c is still 0. So the kecerunan is actually, so this is the y equals to x line, right? So when y equals to 3, you go like this because it's more cerun, because the gradient will be cut. But the gradient, it becomes 1 over 3, it becomes more, how to say? It's less cerun, less cerun. So it's like less slanted like this. So this will be the f inverse. This will be the f inverse. Alright? Okay, and this line actually, and you have to make sure these two lines they intersect at 0. Okay, this line they all have to intersect at 0. Because the y-intercept is all 0. Okay? But this one you don't show at the beginning also, okay? Just want to explain, right? So that's all. That's how you do it. Right? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, next will be number 23. This is what coordinate geometry, right? I almost said solid geometry. Okay, it's coordinate geometry. So x over 6 minus y over 8 equals to 1. Okay, solid geometry is max, Right, so a straight line, this one is mx, so it's coordinate geometry. So it cuts x-axis at point P and point Q are right? So, right? So sini. So cuts x-axis at point P. This is x-axis and this is point Q. It means P is the x-intercept, Q is the y-intercept. And then they say find the gradient of straight line. Gradient. So the symbol for gradient is m. So how do I? This equation is already in intercept form. Okay, what is intercept form? Intercept form looks like this. X over x intercept plus y over y intercept and 1j equals to 1. Okay, 1j equals to 1. It means the x intercept is 6. Okay, it means here is 6. And the y intercept is not 8, it's negative 8. Jangan tersilap, jangan tertinggal the negative. So the negative 8 like this. So it means that here is 6, 0, here is 0, negative 8. 0, negative 8. Like this. So what's the gradient? Y minus y. So negative 8 minus 0 over 0 minus 6. So it will be negative 8 over negative 6. So it's 4 over 3. Okay, you can also use the other formula for gradient, which is negative y intercept or x intercept. But I jarang guna lah formula tu. Okay, but if you use this formula ni untuk semua case boleh guna. Alright, like the other formula, the other one, if you want to use the other formula can also. But that formula is you can only use it when they give you x intercept and y intercept. Okay, but formula yang you guna ni, yang saya guna sekarang ni untuk semua case boleh guna. Alright, so up to you lah. Okay, you can use the other formula too. You get the same answer one. Okay, you get the same answer. Okay, so on the equation of perpendicular bisector of the straight line. So perpendicular bisector to find. If you want to find the perpendicular bisector of PQ, what do you do? How to draw perpendicular bisector? Use a compass. Cucuk Q, lukis atas, lukis bawah. And then cucuk P, lukis atas, lukis bawah. And then you join these two lines. And this will be 90 degree. This line is called the PB. The perpendicular bisector. So now what they want is the equation of this line. Find equation. So in Addmaths, when you see the word find equation, usually how do I teach you? Like what formula you need to use? When you see the word find equation, y minus y is on an gradient, x minus x. Right, find equation. And what you need? You need a gradient and a point yang ada passes through. Alright? So gradient ada tak? Tak ada. Point ada tak? Ada tak point yang passes through? Tak ada. Tapi awak boleh cari sebab dia akan passes through the midpoint of PQ. Alright? Dia tak akan passes through P, tak akan passes through Q, tapi dia ada passes through the midpoint. So you cannot use this as a point. Yeah. You cannot use this to masuk into the formula. You cannot use 6, 0 or -0, 8. You have to use the midpoint. So let's find out what's the midpoint. Midpoint formula is x plus x divided 2, y plus y divided 2. So it's 0 plus 6. Here is -8 plus 0. So the midpoint will be 3, -4. So now you know the point is 3, -4. Now you already have this and this. Now you just need the gradient. And how to find the gradient? The gradient of PQ, this is gradient of the 4 over 3 is what? The 4 over 3 is gradient of PQ, right? PQ gradient is 4 over 3, but I don't want the gradient of PQ. I want the gradient of the perpendicular bisector of PQ. It means M1 is 4 over 3, so what's M2? Terbalikkan and tukar tanda. Alright? Why? Because when two lines are perpendicular, M1 times M2 equals to -1. Alright? So, you can use this shortcut. How you use it is you terbalikkan and tukar tanda. So 4 over 3 terbalik jadi 3 over 4, tukar tanda, plus jadi minus. And you can double check and take this one and take this one, try multiplying it. Try darab. And you will see that you will really get -1. Alright? So, this is the gradient we use, -3 over 4. So, boleh lah masuk into formula y minus y -4 plus gradient -3 over 4 bracket x minus x. So x minus 3. You have to use this point. You have no other choice. You cannot use these 2 points because it passes through 3 and -4. Remember I teach you how to darab reverse in the normal class. 4 times here times here, -3 times here times here. 4 times y, 4y. Here plus 4 times 4, 16. And then -3x plus 9. So the answer is 4y equals -3x minus 7. That is the answer. Alright? Okay, you can take the answer like that. Or you want to divide everything by 4 also can. So divide everything by -3 over 4x minus 7 over 4. Okay, can also. Okay, can also. But you leave it here also, they accept it. Okay, you have to remember. Okay? Because the question didn't say whether they want it in gradient form or linear form. So actually, you stop here is enough. It's good enough already. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Number 24. 24 is probability distribution. Okay, macam mana? 3 fair coins are tossed simultaneously. So you have 1 coin, tapi ada 3 and toss simultaneously. So, saya nak tanya, kalau saya toss 1 coin, what would be the possibility? Head, tail. Betul? Head ataupun tail. But if I toss 3 coins, the possible outcome, like what is all the possibility? Maybe I'll get head. Betul? Maksudnya that is the one possibility. Means all the 3 coins I toss, I get head. Ataupun head, tail. Ataupun the first one head, the second one tail, the third one head. Ataupun tail, head, right? Ini 3 head, this one 3 head, this one 2 head, 2 head, 2 head. What about one head? So kalau one head, head, tail, tail. Ataupun tail, head, tail. Ataupun okay, sekejap. Tail, tail, head, right? And the last one is tail, tail, tail. So there should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yes, it should be 8. So these are all the possibilities if I toss 3 coins simultaneously, right? So H denotes the event of obtaining the head, and T denotes the event of obtaining tail. So H is for getting head, T is for getting tail. And then P represents the probability of success is head. Oh, so probability of getting head is the probability of success. Is that what they mean? Is that what they meant? P represents the probability of success. So P and then probability of failure is Q. So it means the probability of hit will be 1 over 2, right? Okay, if I toss 1 time, the probability of hit is 1 over 2, right? 1 over 2. Okay. So, alright, let's keep reading. List all the possible outcomes. List all the possible sample space for 3QP square. Okay, what does it mean by the QP square here? Q is the probability. So the probability of probability of head is the small p, and probability of tail is the lowercase q, right? The small letter q. So QP square means QPP. So it means tail, head. Okay? It means satu tail. It means it doesn't matter the susunan. It means as to be ada satu tail, dua head. Satu tail, dua head. So the sample space will be satu tail, dua head is what? It's here. Is this satu tail, dua head? Yes. So no. So it's only these 3. So the sample space will be H, H, T, H, T, H, and T, H, H. Okay. The 3 here, I'm not too sure why is it there. Okay, I'm not too sure why is the 3 there, but just ignore it lah. Okay, just leave it lah. Okay, I also not sure. Okay, maybe the 3 here means banyak 3 kali. Okay, or maybe I don't know. Okay, I feel like it's not supposed to be there. Okay, I feel like the 3 is not supposed to be there. It should be just QP square. Okay, but anyway, this is how you do it, right? So QP square means tail and then 2 head. So you pilih yang 2 head lah. This one cannot. This one 1 head. So cannot. Alright, that's all for A. What about for B here? Plot the binomial distribution graph. So how to plot this thing? How to draw this binomial distribution graph? So first of all, you know the probability of success is probability of head, right? So what you do is, okay, this is how you draw the graph. 0, here should be x. Here should be px equals to x, and here should be 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, why I stop at 3? Because there's only 3. Okay, like how to say? You can only paling banyak pun you dapat. Okay, maybe you success 0 kali. It means out of all the 3 toss you tak success, right? Like all you didn't get hit, or maybe you get 1 hit. It means 1 success. Ataupun 2, ataupun 3. It won't be 4 or 5 because there's only 3 coins. Right? So the maximum is 3. So what you do is, you have to do here and find the px equals 0, px equals to 1, px equals to 2, and px equals to 3. And you have to find all the values. So what is px equals 0? Px equals 0 here means that success, it means out of the 3 toss, tak ada satu pun hit. It means tak ada satu pun success. And success in this is dapat hit. So, yang mana? Yang ni? No. Ni? No. Yes. This one. Faham ke? Because no success. It means no hit. Okay? It means px equals 0. Px equals 0 means tak ada satu pun yang success. Tak ada satu yang success means all fail lah. All fail means all tail. So the probability with all tail will be what? 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. So it's 1 over 8. Okay? Because the probability of tossing tail Kali pertama is 1 over 2, so you just times. Okay, what about Px equals to 1? What does it mean by Px equals to 1? It means out of the 3 toss, one of the 3 toss I succeed. Okay, is a success. So success is dapat hit. Maksudnya mesti ada satu hit. Satu hit. So yang mana satu hit? Yang ni tak boleh. Tak boleh. Tak boleh. Ini tak boleh. Yang ni boleh. Ini boleh, yes, boleh. Yang ni boleh. Sebab dia ada satu hit. Yang ni tak boleh because ada 2 hit. Yang ni tak boleh sebab ada 3 hit. So this one. So it will be 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. So it is 1 over 8 here. So here you will get 1 over 8 also. Here also get 1 over 8. And then tengah dia plus. So 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8. 3 over 8. Right? That's how you do it. Okay? Okay, what about Px equals to 2? So let me erase this. Erase. Okay, Px equals to 2 means what? It means out of the 3 toss, success 2 kali. Success 2 kali. Success 2 times. It means dapat hit 2 times. Yang ni tak boleh. So this one 2 hit. Ini 2 hit. This one 2 hit. Yang ni tak boleh lah sebab ada 3. Okay, this one is for the last one. Okay, so yang ni 1 hit tak boleh. So sini. So the same also lah. The probability is 1 over 2 times 1 over 1 over 2. So 1 over 8, 1 over 8, 1 over 8. And then when you add all, you get 3 over 8. Alright? Okay, for the last one is Px equals 3. Maksudnya 3 toss tu 3 dapat hit. It means all success. All the 3 toss are success. All the 3 toss are getting hit. This one lah. So 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. So it's 1 over 8. Okay? So what I do now is I can plot 1 over 8 and 3 over 8. So you choose a point. You just choose a place and label it 1 over 8 and choose here, choose like higher a bit, 3 over 8. And then what you do, Px equals 0 is 1 over 8, so tarik sampai sini. Alright? Then sini tarik sampai 3 over 8. Sini tarik sampai 3 over 8. Yang ni tarik sampai 1 over 8. Okay, just follow Px equals 3. So, right? That's how you draw the dynamic distribution graph. Okay, last question. Finally, 25. Alright? Okay, I don't know how long this video going to be. I think it's like 2 hours. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know how long I've been talking already. Okay, I didn't. Okay, I should have looked at the time before I start. Okay, but okay, let's finish it up. Diagram 25 shows the position of 6 pictures consisting of mother, father, 3 daughters, and a son. So ada gambar picture. Okay, so this family consists of 6 family members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they say find A, the number of possible arrangements. So number of possible arrangements. It means no restriction, no restriction. Right? B, any other restriction, other condition. Number of arrangements if parents is in top row, and daughter have to be next to each other. Right? Okay. Since it's the last question, I starting the soalan. Okay, so I don't have to keep holding the book. Okay, so when I explain, I don't have to hold the book. Okay, I can just look here. So you have mother, father, daughter number 1, daughter number 2, daughter number 3, and son. Okay, so they want you to find number of possible arrangement. Here means that there is no restriction. Maksudnya mother atas boleh, mother bawah, like any arrangements. That include anything. Like son atas, son bawah, son can be bawah, son can be atas, son can be here. So no restriction, no condition. Okay, daughter can be separate also. It can be daughter atas also can. Like daughter here, daughter 3 here, son can also. It means macam mana pun boleh. Like no restriction. So no restriction means 6 factorial or 6p6, 720, right? Because there is 6 and you can arrange these 6, you can arrange into 6 different places however you want, right? No restriction. But for B, there's a restriction because they say find number of arrangements if the parents has to be in the top row. So that is the condition. Parents has to be in top row. Maksudnya 2p2, okay, times with daughter have to be next to each other. The parents have to be in here. Maksudnya 2p2, okay? father, it will be father, mother, like this. Right? You get the right? So there is two ways of arranging it. That's why I write 2 p2. Actually, you want to write 2 times can also. Okay, tinggal dengan d1, d2, d3 and sum. But there's a restriction. For the bottom row, the daughter has to be next to each other. Maksudnya, okay, this is the bottom row, right? This is the bottom row. So the 3 daughters has to be together. Like they have to be next to each other. It cannot be d1 and then the sum here and then d2, d3. Cannot. It has to be d1, d2, d3 together like this. So what we can do is we can take this as 1. So it can be like this, it can be like this also. Can you understand? It means there is there's only two, how to say, 2 possible positions for the 3 daughters. It can be either left, right here. So there's 2 here. So you can actually write 2 times with 3p3 factorial. Because let me explain it. Because the daughter d1, d2, d3 you can put it here, right? You can also put it here, right? It means that there is 4. You can put it here, the 3 daughters, or you can put it here also. 3 daughters. So there will be 2. It can be d1, d2, d3, or d1, d2, d3. And why I times 3 d3? Because in itself, d1, d2, d3, they say they have to be next to each other, but it can be also like d2, d3, d1, or d1, d3, d2. It means that it can arrange itself also. Like in the d1, d2, d3, or the 3 daughters can arrange in itself also. Right? As long as it's in the box, then it's okay because it has to be next to each other. That's why you have to times with 3 factorial or 3p3 is the same. So I need to get 2 times 2 times 6, 24. Alright? Okay, understand? So that's how you do it. Okay, that's all. Alright.